So hello and welcome to the Sunday Race Club here on MyWhoosh. It's our finals for August. Where has the time gone? Well, I can tell you where it's gone. It's on all of those kilometres on the amazing race routes of MyWhoosh over the past month that has brought us to this point. My name's Matt Payne. I'm going to be bringing you all of today's race action in the finals here today. And of course, in our finals, we also have our team competition as well as all of our usual amazing prize list as well. So let's show you where we're going. First of all, because the parcours, the course and the course profile, absolutely critical. You can see we are going into Colombia onto the Paso Alto. Now, this is essentially a course of two halves. The first half, metaphorically rather than literally, is the flat run in to the start of the Medellin city climb. You can see that we have 3 sprint checkpoints along the way, and those 3 sprint checkpoints will be the deciders in terms of making sure that you get the segment prize and then that overall leader's jersey for the sprints, which is a green jersey. When we go on to the climbs, it's polka dots, as you would expect, and that is the Medellin city climb checkpoint and the Bogota climb checkpoint as well. The Bogota climb checkpoint coming just before the finish, 500 meters, in fact, at 34.5 kilometers. In between the two is the FRB, the flat rolling bumpy, so named by my co-host who is on international duty at the Paracycling World Championships today. That's Emma Martin. FRB being flat rolling and bumpy, and that is the section between the Medellin city climb checkpoint and the start of the Bogota climb. Now, in terms of instrumental parts of this course, may well see some little early breaks. If your eyesight is good, your monitors are a high resolution. Just before the Amazonian sprint checkpoint, you'll see a few bumps. Just before the San Gil sprint checkpoint, you'll see there is a larger rise, but they are minuscule in comparison to our big climbs. So we may say little attacks for sprint checkpoints, but generally the real big overall deciding action is going to take place on the Medellin city climb and then backed up on the Bogota climb. The Bogota climb is fast though, be aware. Super quick, super fast. Drafting, very important on that climb as well. As always, women's race up first today, followed by the men's race. 6 race categories in each, equal prize money between the men's and the women's competitions. So a real proper split between the two, and we'll be bringing you the women's race with all 6 race categories. Our first category to go are the category 6 riders, and those category 6 riders, top left hand side of your screen, represented in those purple jerseys, with a category 5 top right hand side light blue, category 4 in red, category 3 in dark blue, 2 in green and 1 in yellow. So let's dive in with category 6, the first set of our riders to make a start today. And we have a number of teams represented here today. The Kitty Hawk Racing Moonpaw with Holtman, Scriven, Hadjic and Webber. Skyglaw with Almeida, De Kirchner, along with Hamilton, Michels and Voss. We've got Level Phoenix with Fielder, Limbago, Driscoll and Hooker. Royal Ascent, represented by Flores, Botero, Lodano, Lopes and Reyes. We've got the Tour de Friends squad, Barco, Salzano, Agudelo, Narvaez and Sarasu, as well as a number of individual riders as well. Bremner, Gonster, Zidane and Liu. Those are the riders down to race today. Tour de France, very strong team. Will it be theirs today? Well, they've certainly had the representation on those podiums in the top 3 when it comes to the qualifiers. But the time for rehearsals is done. It's time for our finals. It's time to hit the road here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club final for August. The riders up and away, out from the start pen, and this is the critical moments. Now, essentially, pancake flat to our first checkpoint at 6.5 kilometers. So the riders heading out onto the course need to stay in the draft. You can tell if they're in the draft, top center of your screen. Let's do a little run through the screen for you, just in case we have somebody who's not been watching before. If you're new here, welcome to the Sunday Race Club. It's great to have you with us. What you're seeing on your screen, each of the riders are represented by an avatar. They're racing in their pain caves on their smart turbo smart bike. That registers the amount of power that they are producing. And through the verification process, we know how tall they are, how much they weigh, and what their performance characteristics are. That's what's decided which category they're in. And that power is translated to the watts that you see, the big number next to that little lightning bolt, which is at the moment in green for Julius Narvaez. So that number is in green if the riders are in the draft. So if they're hiding behind another rider. If they're out in the wind, then it's white. We're in with Judith Navras, and you can see here, Judith on the left-hand side of our screen. She's there riding the bike in person, the real person, her avatar on our screen, centered on that big bunch at the moment, currently riding in the middle of the group, around about that sort of 14th, 15th position. And every pedal stroke that Judith Navras is putting down is measured, so we know it's 83 to 82 at the moment, and down to 81 at the moment, just moderating the pedal revs. That's to the right of the green watts number. To the left is the heart rate, so that heart rate monitor strap will be transmitting that heart rate through, and all that going into game as well. It's part of that verification as well. You can see just below there the speed, 35 kilometers an hour, and at top center, the distance, the time that we've been racing. So 2 minutes of racing covered already for these riders as they've come out from the pens. Top right-hand side of your screen, you can see the rider's radar view. This is a bit like your satellite navigation in the car that you might have or on your bike, but this has an added advantage because each of our riders, we know where they are. Each of the riders are represented by a disc. The riders in category 6, a purple disc. Each of those discs at the moment piled on top of each other because this group is very compact. It's not strung out, but you'll see that spread out as we move through. The course profile, well, at the moment, it is a red flat line because there is no gradient change. The rider's position indicated by that yellow vertical line. Just below, you can see what's called the nearby list. That is the name for it. It's official cycling esports term. And that on the right-hand side, the nearby list shows that we're watching Juliana Agudelo. That's the rider highlighted in purple. Juliana on our screens, the Colombian rider, one of our really strong squad riders, and a rider I think is going to figure strongly for that Tour de France squad. They work very well as a team. And you can just see that Juliana Agudelo at the moment sitting about 24th position in that group as they make the way out. The riders on the very front will be working harder because they're having to push through the breeze, are having to break the air and push through that. The riders behind benefiting from the draft that is produced. About 5 meters the distance you need to be within a wheel to get some substantial assistance. We're just in with Jacqueline Almeida, one of our regular riders, the Brazilian rider here on the screen at the moment, and those Brazilian colours just on the side of the shorts there as well. Just sitting on the bike there, spinning away and making sure that she keeps nicely tucked into this group. Almeida at the moment, 120 watts, that same similar speed, 35 kilometres an hour. The nearby list is really handy in terms of telling you who is around the riders, but also the time gaps. And you can see that whilst we're watching Almeida, the rest of these riders are all at 0-0. 0-0. No time gaps between the riders on your screen at the moment. That's going to change because I think we're going to just see a little bit of a push off the front, but up and away. Category 6 up and right in there, our first category. Now the controls are all the same. What you see on the screen are the same between each of our categories. Let's run you through the teams, though, in Category 5, because they're the next set of riders away. The Aeronova squad, Samuel, Johnson, Hermansen, Almasori and Cahul, along with Cycling District 5, Jaskalainen, Hamilton, Montoya, Joy Mayer and Rodriguez. The Full Gas Femmes, Sudibayo, Girardo, Kennedy and Stevenson, up against the Level Cycling Warriors. They are going to be Amber Johnson, Brooke Samuel, that's the Aeronova squad. Just a name change on between doing the prep and hitting the start line. Pedal dancers, Valencia Zulaga, Wilhelm Becker and Quintero. Phoenix, Tejeros, Gentili, Giuliano, Lloyd and Ferron. We've also got the Velocity Vipers, so that's Hoyos, Marshall and Co. And the What Women, Smithson, Warren, Bago and Idzik, with Alexander Knowles, the riders just separate at the moment, riding on her own, so not having to follow any kind of team orders. We're in with Brooke Samuel, the Aeronova squad. Up on to our start and away, so Category 5 up and away. All the riders doing exactly the same race route, whether they're in the Category 6, Category 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're in with Brooke Samuel. Brooke has her very own cheerleading team who are not yet out here. So they're up and away. If you are joining us, you can join us. If I know that Brooke Samuel's cheerleading team will no doubt be on the chat at some point, the live chat. Now, we do monitor the YouTube chat on the way through, try and keep up with everything everybody is saying. Doesn't always work, I have to admit, because we're trying to watch a multitude of screens at once. So good to have Christoph with us in here. Christoph, Emma is not racing today. No, indeed, she's commentating. So both myself and Emma, regular commentators for the UCI, the governing body of the cycle sport, and we do get called upon for World Championships to put words to the action of that. And Emma at the Paracycling Road World Championships from Reims in Belgium. So when you finish watching the Sunday Race Club, if you've been missing Emma, you can tune into that and catch up with Emma with a co-host Barney Story on there, a paracyclist himself and pilot and medalist at the World Championships and the Olympics as well. So a very great rider as well. We'll get him down on the Sunday Race Club one day. Now, in with Rona May, Joy Mayer, one of our regular riders. Great view out the window there. Nice blue skies and sunshine by the look of it in the background. So, Joy Mayer at the moment, very spinning along. Good to see you this morning or this afternoon or this evening, wherever you are in the world. You've got to remember our riders, of course, whatever their flag is, it's not necessarily where they are in the world at that time. That's the nation that they would represent if they were in a World Championships. Maybe Rona May Joy Mayer will be in our World Championships. We will see. Just currently spinning at the front of this group. The numbers just going from the green into the grey, so hitting the wind, just having to hold the position. Just going to jump across with Musa Al-Mansouri, a regular rider on MyWhoosh, one of our regular competitors in the Sunday Race Club. Definitely a rider to watch out for on this big climb that we have at the end of the course today, because this is a very, very tough course. 37 races for Al-Mansouri in the Sunday Race Club, but yet to take a win. Is today going to be the day? Well, we'll have to find out. She's up against Hannah Hermansen, who is at the moment mining a very, very rich vein of form at the moment, because she is very much the rider of the moment in terms of racing, taking away the win in the MyWhoosh Championship. She was 7th in qualifier race number 4. She was raced at qualifier race number 1 as well. She was 8th in that. She was 8th in her last finals as well. So Hannah Hermansen, I think today will be looking to really propel herself up there and get herself up into the top of position. Will she be able to do so? Well, it's going to take a little bit of doing, but we will have to see. Certainly a rider who can excel when we go uphill, and will be very interesting to see if she can make today count, because she's definitely on form. You've got to use that when you've got it, and today's a great time with our big prize money in all of our race categories being added to from the normal prize money in qualification, because we have the addition of the team prizes here today. So let's move across from categories 6 and 5, who are already out of the pens, to category 4. Now, the category 4 squads, the K-pop Hunters, Loxley, Elsa, Ellis, and Perry going to be up against the Pedal Queens, Sonnerson, Santos, Schultz, and Howeiler. Now, need to also watch out for the Red Rebel riders, because we've got Hyde, Kawasuska, Hamas, and Sisioka. Definitely wants to watch on the climbs today. Against them, the Steel Eagles team is Gerardo, Highball, Mongeli, Atwell, and Herrero. The Unshakable squad, they've got some strength in depth there. Hadlock, Altoalpa, De Grazia, and Barragan. They're going to be up against the women's sprint squad, who may well be going for those sprints. That is Arias, Pamplona, Corrales, and Giraldo. And don't forget Yellow Rebel riders Vic and Krausova. We've also got Gaini, Campero, Alcabi, and Benilla as our individual riders in category 4. So we'll be seeing whether or not they are going to be taking away top spot here today. It's not the easiest thing to do when you've got such a quality race field in all of our race categories. At the moment, though, category 6 about to head into the sprint. So here we go. taking the left-hand turn here, coming around in towards the sprint section. Jessica Hamilton up and away. No surprises that Hamilton has launched fieldless, challenging her though, and going to be looking to take away some big points here as well. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points for the riders as they go through each of our checkpoints here today. The first checkpoint, the Amazonian Sprint, going to Jessica Hamilton. 5 points for Hamilton, 4 for Fiedler, 3 for Londano, 2 for Hadjuk, and 1 for Bridget Bremner. So they are your 5-point scorers so far. All the way through the 3 sprint points, checkpoints, you'll find that those points are added in together, and the overall leader of the sprint will have a green skin suit rather than just a green jersey, because if it was just green jersey, it'd be even more confusing when you reach category 2, where they have green jerseys across the whole of the race field. Back in with category 4, in with Veronica Ciciolka, and one of our regular riders, a great rider. I think today, a rider who I expect to go well on today's climb. 2 wins on the Sunday Race Club so far to date. She took a win on the Jebel Yace in the finals in April. She also took the win in Belgium in qualifier race number 2, both in category 4. So definitely a rider to watch today. You can just see that heart rate monitor just on Cicioca there, just working away. I think it's going to be a Wahoo one by the look of that. Just going to be transmitting the heart rate data across to the riders' screen data, and that heart rate at the moment 162, so 162 beats a minute as the rider CCL keeps on pushing. Alongside Palmer Mongelli, by the look of it, another of our regulars. Good morning, Palmer. Good to see you on the screens again. Just me in the studio today. No Emma, and Palmer, one of our regular contributors on social media as well, has been a fantastic rider and always brightens our day with a smile when we see her, even if she's suffering on the biggest climb that you've seen. Currently searching for the race win. No pressure today, Palmer, but 1 third place, 1 second place. There's 1 colour missing on your Hall of Fame chart. That is a gold top number 1. Taking a climb winner's jersey, though, so a rider definitely to watch out for. And it'll be interesting to see how Mongelli can go when she goes into the big climb at the end of today. Definitely a rider for the finals. Went well on the California Coast and Country in March. Got a 2nd place there on the Sunday Race Club. A rider who has been improving and moving from category 5 up into category 4. Rode all of the MyWhoosh Championship, and you can watch all of the MyWhoosh Championship back on the YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit that like button, and jump on board. As you can see, 3 categories away already. Category 6 at 8.3k, 5.1k for category 5. It's currently at 3.4k for category 4. Category 3, our next riders to leave the pens. Lots of big teams in here today. Going to roll through everybody who's in a team. Thank you very much for joining your teams and being so organised and getting it done nice and early. It does help with our preparation behind the scenes. Attack Pack, Sopers, Bennett, Simkin and Hill. August Powers riders are Embring, Beltran and Kasani. The Chain Right, love that. Chain Right team, that's Yao, Miller, Kong, Ramett and Horner. The Crank Sisters squad, Van Rossum, Bauer, Zikowicz, Stokanis and Antonella. You've got the Cycling District 3 squad, that is Frias, Salgado, Manfron, De Pavia and Silva. The Grit squad, represented by Daniels, Kainberger, Johnson, Desenia. The Riot 3 squad are going to be represented by Bulara, Nyquist, McKay, Riel, and Brooke. Golden Light represented by Golden Light herself, and the Wanderer squad represented by Altamarino, Prado, Bonilla, and Young. Definitely ones to watch here today. We also have Brianna Samuel and Brittany Linton, Jenny Pettinen, and they are going to be our riders up and away individually in amongst this big bunch of riders. Those are the entries as they came into us. A lot of our prep actually taking place Thursday and Friday before the racing, as we look at who's in which team, who's been on form, who's got which results on the way through. Interesting to see Emily Nyquist in here and featuring early on. Definitely a rider to watch for the big climbs when we come in. I think today's climb is all suited. Two-stage climb today for Nyquist, and that's going to be very telling. As we drop across to Category 5, the second of our categories to hit the road. This is the run through towards the sprint banner. Natalia Idzik, who took that sprint jersey up against Hannah Hermansen. Hermansen working all the way up over the top here, and Idzik's pause there has let Hermansen go in over the top. Hannah Hermansen, you could see in person, they're giving it absolutely everything. That leg speed, phenomenal on the way through, staring at the big screen, making sure she got that job done. It will be Hermansen who's going to take away the points there. She will take away 5 points. It will be 4 points for Idzik, 3 for Warren, 2 for Gentili, and 1 for Knowles. Interestingly, Category 5 getting to that point slower than Category 4. The fastest rider in Category 5 hit the line 11 minutes after leaving the start pens. The fastest rider in Category 6, 10 minutes 56 seconds after leaving the start pen. So a difference there. It may only be 4 seconds, but Category 6 starting with a little bit more vim and vigour than Category 5, who, in theory, you would expect to be the faster riders to that checkpoint. Now moving back in with our Category 3 riders who've just left the pen. In with Barbara Bulawa. In here, the Polish rider racing regularly again. It's great to see so many people so committed to the Sunday Race Club and to racing on MyWhoosh. Definitely one of those. Again, another rider, very similar Palmares, in fact, to Palma Mongeli, who we saw. One King of the Mountains, 2 4th and 5th places, a 3rd place and a 2nd place. The MyWhoosh champion, though, in Category 3 for 2025. The rider who took away the championship jersey in Category 3. A definite rider to watch on this climb. Her best result on the championship. Interestingly, through the MyWhoosh Championships, Bulawa didn't win a single stage, but she was so good consistently up there. Her best result came on stage 5, which was our mountaintop finish in Japan, the Noboru course, finishing up on to Mount Fuji with a 2nd place in that stage. And then the time trial the day after, a 4th place, with a top finish, a climb finish as well. So definitely one to watch today, Bulawa in Category 3. Rebecca Johnson on our screens. Rebecca known for some amazing race performances, as well as being a rider who we know has the ability to show us wherever she's racing and riding, getting that sent to us. And Rebecca Johnson doing the business here, the Great Britain rider. 6 wins on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Definitely a rider to watch. In Category 3, we see some great progression, in fact, from Johnson moving away up over the duration of her racing, and 62 Sunday Race Clubs for Johnson to date. So Rebecca Johnson in with Emily Nyquist. We've got Restrepo in here, Philippa Hill in the group as well. Looks like that big pack of Category 3, though, not moving that fast, 36 kilometres an hour on this flat section. We've definitely seen faster speeds from some of our earlier groups. A quick reminder, the first time we get a real check is when we get to the checkpoint at 6.5 kilometres, so some way to go. Just in with Anna Embring. Anna, a long-time rider, and definitely going to be one of the riders to watch. Anna Embring, a rider racing in the Swedish colours normally, so good to see Anna. Morning, Anna, if you are in Sweden, because the sun will be up, it will still be morning. A win on the Sunday Race Club. She's had 9 second places and 6 third places, so a prolific podium placing rider in her 126 participations on the Sunday Race Club. The last podium was in qualifier race number 2, where she took a 2nd place in that Category 3 race, but definitely a rider to watch as we go in with Category 4. Next of our riders heading in towards the sprint here, and interesting to see here, Elos was leading this out. Over the top has gone Diana Corrales. Corrales going very hard here to go into the sprint. She's gone over the top of Schultz. So at the moment, the Colombia rider Diana Corrales is going to go through and take away top spot. The women's sprint team rider taking that away. Well, the women's sprint is the team name, and they did exactly what it says on the tin, as the old advert used to say. It is about going for that sprint, and Corrales rewarded with the fastest time. Fastest time so far, category 4 going faster than categories 5 and 6, taking the points there. Corrales taking 5 points, Schultz taking 4, Mongeli taking 3, Kawazuska taking 2, and De Grazia taking 1. So the women's sprint squad ahead of Pedal Queens, the Steel Eagles team, the Red Rebel Riders, and the Unshakable squad. Interestingly, behind women's sprint rider Pamplona taking 6th place. That's a real then mix of riders, nobody wanting to be too far out of the competition. That leading group of category 4 riders, well, they all went through, and in the leading group, 27 riders. Now, in with category 3, in with Kimberly Miller. Miller, another of our riders here on the Sunday Race Club. And thank you, everybody who's given us a view into your pain cave. I'm loving the plants indoors and out. I've watered the Full Speed Events office plants here, the back end of the studios, the office that joins our studios, where the commentary comes to you from. We send it all the way to the team at MyWhoosh, and then they do their magic at their end. Amazing team there. They give us this amazing view in, so we can see our riders in action. We can also see the riders' avatars are fighting over the bridge. You can see Miller there up out of the saddle, kicking down quickly though as she came over the top, sits back down again, and that's taking her through right near the front of this group. And with a big group, you don't want to be left in the back of the group when you come onto those bridges, because that's where you can be in trouble if a gap goes and it's further back than halfway. The majority of riders in your group are together at the front. It means it's more and more difficult, the less and less riders you have around you, to stay in that pack. Wise riding by Emily Nyquist, one of our regular riders riding from the United States of America. Nyquist, definitely a rider to watch today. As I said earlier on, definitely a rider who I suspect will go well, particularly with this type of climb today. Searching for a first win on the Sunday Race Club. 2 second places, 4 fourth and fifth places, taking 6 Queen of the Mountain jerseys though on the way through. Definitely a rider for the Colombian races as well. Took a second place on the last stage of the MyWhoosh Championships on the Coffee Trail, which is the route round Colombia that a lot of this takes on the way through at the moment. So in with that Camila Salgado, so we make our way over the top of the bridge, just dropping off the other side. You can see that speed picking up, 46, now 48 kilometers an hour. In with Salgado in that pain cave at the moment. Nice stand there, just with the phone just heading, so the communication is there, looking at the screen in front and seeing that pace pick up. We're at 5.4 kilometers in this category 3 race field at the moment. We've got a little way to go to hit the sprint checkpoint. So that sprint going to go on the right-hand side. Let's just quickly dive in, though, with Category 2, because they're all ready to go. They're in the pens. Antipodean Racing Team, Davidson, Shanks, Truding, Banerjee and Marb. Up against the core squad, Gonzalez, Ruiz, Simmons, McLeod, Caramani and Giovanni. The FCC United Cadence squad, Egg, Manshandi, Jaramillo and Denton, definitely ones to watch today. They're up against the Riot squad. That is Russell, Hebersmith, Sanchez, Ortiz and Reese. Do not discount the Spin Sisters, Schneider, Thompson and Kuma. Maria Thompson very, very strong on that MyWhoosh Championship. The Velocity Vikings, Slarstrom, Wagner, Nordin, Gosterlander and London can never be discounted at all. The Watt team, we have Hannah Hakkinen, Sarah Roach, Serena Vittori and Holly Bergin on that Watt team. And then a number of individual riders, Pelo, Giannatti, Walkerhurst and Giuseppin, the individual riders. Today, Team Tactics will help on the flatter sections. They may help with putting the chase down on the climb sections. It's not necessarily, though, going to make the biggest difference when you come in to our final climb, because by then everybody will be riding for themselves as they go up into that finish. Big sprint coming. Just saw the lead out there, but over the top goes Desegner and Lancome. Lancome going to take that. Lancome, prolific race winner on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Very really good to see Lam Kong about the rider here, taking the green skin suit of our sprint leader just ahead of Valentina de Segna. So as they came in over the line, the riders come in and through. Kong leading them through in category 3. The riders hit that at some pace as well. They were led out at a real fast pace there. But the rider from Hong Kong taking the top spot. So going in and through. So we're going to see Kong from Desegna, from Horner, then Miller and Bauer, as that's the riders we saw as they came in over the line. Now, in with Sophie Giovanni, a very, very strong climber, the French rider. At home, you can just see the board in the background, and that's the sort of board you would see on a team following car. On the front of the team car, the nation's flag, and then the rider's name, Giovanni, and then Sophie. And Sophie Giovanni just making sure she stays cool at the moment. Very, very hot across a lot of Europe. Just started to ease back a little bit in the European continent over the last week. In fact, outside the Full Speed Event Studios, it's been raining all week, so we've been keeping the equipment and the microphones dry so that we can put words to the action here today. So here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, the August monthly final. It's me, Matt Payne, putting words to the action. Taking a view in on Heather Shanks. Good to see Heather in here on the bike once again. Morning, Heather, because it is morning in Scotland still. One of our regular riders in here. So Heather Shanks, one of our riders who I think likes a tougher race than an easier race. I think she's going to like a battle today. I think the climbs are going to suit her today, maybe more than one long climb. So having that break midway, I think we can see some smart riding from Heather on the flat rolling bumper, the FRB, between climb 1 and climb 2. You can actually make a lot of ground for very little effort if you time your effort right. So we'll see, I think, a little bit later on if Heather Shanks has got that momentum dialed and can get it down at the right point. Easier said than done when you've got to the top of climb number 1. But I have faith in Heather Shanks' abilities to perform today, because I think we're going to see a rider who's continued to improve week on week here in the Sunday Race Club. You can see our Category 2 riders just heading out. Coming back the other direction, we can see riders coming around because this is a multi-looped course. We're just in with Rhiannon Denton now. Denton's climbing abilities have been very much to the fore and very instrumental in her riding in Category 2, moving herself up 2 wins on the Sunday race. She took a second place in qualifier number 4 last week, absolutely flying on there. She took a second place climbing up on the the Mount Fuji stage, going up to the top of the climb in Japan on the MyWhoosh Championships. Her wins, well, she took a couple of wins back on qualifier race 2 in February and race number 1. Number 2 was on the Asa del Aguila, which is basically, it finished on what was the first climb that we have today. So going to be interesting to see how she gets on. Setting off behind, well, it's going to be our Category 1 race field. The Ablock International squad, always difficult to beat. Kristen Kolczynski, the hill climb specialist herself, up against Lisa, with Lisa Hermansen, Maria Holcroft, Kate McCarthy, the world champion and MyWhoosh champion, and Mika Soderstrom, super sprinter Soderstrom. A very strong squad of 5. 5 riders for the FCC Chainring Action squad. The Anne Nevin, Elena Wiseman, Mina Coyston, and Samara Shepherd, and Sylvia Garea. The Endorphin squad, that's our Lethbridge, Amanda Paulson, Francesca Tomasi, Jane Atkin, and Rachel Brown. The Purebred Daisies, that's Caramella, Filensky, Engström, Tidholm, and Leinen. Supernova, represented by Kittle, Kalman, Moros, and Field. Sweat Sensations by Guerra, Fua, Bruni, and Mayer. The Breakaways, Alberg, Van Heuling, Gallegos, Bierhead, and Van Hove, with Watt Sisters, Felt, Van Short, and Brook, all on the race start sheets today. A star-studded race start sheet as the riders head out on to a race route here today. Fantastic to see them in action as they head away from race starts. All of our category starts now away from the pens here in Colombia, all up against the same 35-kilometer long route with 537 meters of elevation to climb before they reach our checkpoint at the final point of the day, and that is the Bogota climb checkpoint, and then into our finale at the 35-kilometer marker. Remember, the key thing to remember when these riders are in the red zone at the end, they've got to remember that that finish line is not where that polka dot checkpoint is. Now, Kate McCarthy on our screens. Kate will remember this course well because this course, and thank you very much for the insider information sent over to us, because it was a very, very interesting point that had been sent over. This is, in fact, a very important course for Kate McCarthy. Do you know why it's a very important course for Kate McCarthy? Well, it is an important course because this is the course that she took her very first Sunday Race Club win on, and she's back on it once again. So after that very first one, she's back here again doing it with, well, I'm sure the intention of doing exactly the same thing second time around. Looking to take away a win here today. Can the MyWhoosh champion for 2025, can the rider who took away the World Championships be able to do exactly the same again here today as she did in her very first Sunday Race Club, her first victory on this course? I think it was 9 months ago, if I remember correctly. Our superb informant inside the camp told us. So thank you very much. No names mentioned, don't worry. In with Catherine Fuhr. Now, Catherine Fuhr, fantastic rider, a medalist, of course, at the World Championships in 2024. She's a World Championship medalist. Now, for those regular viewers, you will know that Catherine Fuhr has a sister, and her sister competes in the Paralympic discipline and on the road. And at Zurich, she took away a medal. Well, she didn't just take away a medal in the time trial. She took away a win at the World Championships this year in 2025. So the Fuhr family on fire and doing the amazing job. So congratulations on that. And let's see if that inspires Catherine to even further heights today. She's been on storming form, has been riding very, very strongly. Can she continue to push as hard as she has so far, or even harder, and take away race win? We will have to wait and find out till we get in through the finish. Just in with Joanna Tidholm at the moment, just off the front of that group. Looks like a few runners just thinking, oh, this is a little dangerous. We don't really want anybody to stretch away off down the road on the moment at the moment. Tidholm riding for that purebred Daisy squad. Very quickly, just marking that out. You can see Paulson and Hermansen of the Block International squad. Paulson riding for the Endorphin squad as they make their way up on to race route. Well, you can see at the moment 3 of our key riders, 3 nations represented here. We've got Gabby Guerra, top of your screen, the Brazilian riding in America. Gabby Guerra keeping herself entertained while she's out and training, not just by streaming so much of that great content on there and making sure she looks after the sponsors. Do support Gabby. You can help buying products that from the companies that support her. If you are a big Gabby fan and you want to help support Gabby's riding, she's also been being inspired. She's had deer outside the training room, so she's been able to look out the window and see the local fauna walking past, the deer coming past where she lives in America. Amazing to have that inspiration. Not sure Nicole Mayer and Catherine Fuhr can see that out of the window at the moment. They're far too focused on the screens. Mayer from the United States of America, Fuhr from Switzerland, and Catherine Fuhr with that success in the family, that World Championship title, absolute business being done by them. What a talented family to be in, and it really does show that no matter what sort of riding you want to do, there's championships out there. All of them are the paracycling and the cycling esports governed by the UCI. And MyWhoosh, of course, the UCI's cycling esports partner for 24, 25, and 26. Now, going down the road, it's not Jennifer Garthlander. I can tell you that much, because at the moment, our leader just shot off down the front, caught everybody else napping on the way in through the sprint. Category 2 going through. Now, I'm just going to take a little bit of a scroll because Category 3 went through quick. I think Category 2 were literally asleep there as they came in, because they have gone through slower than Category 3. Anna Svarström taking away top spot in Category 2. Taking 5 points. In fact, almost identical time to Category 4 rider Diana Corrales, who took the win in Category 4. So Svarström taking the win in Category 2. At that checkpoint, taking away maximum points, 5 points. Then it's Holly Bergin of the Watt team scoring points. So Bergin flying along. Holly Bergin doing a great job of coordinating everybody on the Full Speed Events channel, so you can keep together the big chat channel there for people, for women who are riding on Whoosh, and making sure there's a lot of chat on there, coordinating a lot of the riders on the team time trials as well, so doing a lot of work on that. And of course, Holly Bergen, one of the key coaches on the MyWhoosh platform, so make sure you jump on board and get onto one of those live coach rides that go all days of the week. They are there, different time zones as well. One rider who's definitely not going to need much coaching, Amanda Paulson. Well, look at this. Paulson, a really, really strong rider. We've seen her improve all the way through. Now, I have to say, I'm not sure whether it's going to be commiserations or congratulations to Amanda Paulson, because Amanda Paulson has been riding incredibly strongly in Category 2. So strongly, in fact, that as we went into qualifier race number 4, she was moved to Category 1 by dint of her amazing performances. The Danish rider moving into Category 1 after she took the win. She'd taken a string of podiums all the way across Category 2. She wasn't off the podium in the MyWhoosh Championships, and she was the overall winner there. Amazing riding by Paulson all the way through that championship, taking away the win. But very strong rider in Category 2. Now in Category 1 and showing, well, do you know what? Let's see if what we can do. Let's go head up the road. Bridget Kittle, another of our recently promoted riders into Category 1, the rider from New Zealand, nicely tucked into this bunch, just in the pain cave with Bridget Kittle at the moment, the fan blowing, the towel over the bars just to protect those handlebars and the handlebar tape is one of the big tips that we could give you, is that if you're regularly spending a lot of time on the bike, on the turbo, unlike on the road where you'll find that the breeze whips any perspiration off you and puts it behind you, quite often the person who's riding behind you, when you are on the indoor bike, it's something that can happen, that you get, it builds up, and because your handlebar tape will absorb it from your hands, your arms, whether it's dripping off your forehead, guess what? It goes into your handlebars and it can cause some real problems with the handlebar and the stem. So check, take the tape off, check those handlebars regularly. Should be doing that generally a minimum of every year, putting new bar tape on, but I would suggest that probably 3 to 6 months, if you're a regular rider, is not untoward. For the sake of some tape, it'll save a nasty accident if you do pull on the bars and they've fatigued and have had so much damage being done underneath the bar tape by that sweat. So protect it with a towel. You can get sweat guards on there as well, but also make sure that you check your equipment, whatever cycling discipline. It's very, very important. Nobody wants anybody having an accident because they pull on a bit of kit and it fails. There you go. Public health warning, public service warning, all here on MyWhoosh. As these riders are in, well, let's give them a warning. Sprint's coming. Don't fall asleep. Don't get caught napping like Category 2 potentially did there by Svarström. Category 1 on the way. The world champion, resplendent in those rainbow bands. The multicolour rainbow bands that adorn all of the World Champions jerseys across all of the UCI disciplines. Been won here. Cycling Esports won by Kate McCarthy in the women's competition, by Jason Osborne in the men's competition. Well, there's no World Championship at stake, but Lisa Hermansen is sprinting like there's one. Big kick out from Hermansen from the Adblock International squad, teammate of the world champion. And Hermansen clearly looking to get some points in the bag early, take the segment win. Taking away the segment win in category 1. It's always good. $70 going to Hermansen for the segment win in category 1. In category 2, it's $50 for Anna Svarström. It will be $40 in category 3 for Pavia. In category 4, it'll be $30 for the win, $20 in category 5 for Hannah Hermansen, and $15 in the bank. You can have a few ice creams and coffees with $15. Jessica Hamilton in category 6. You can see from the times there, category 1 with the fastest time, but brilliant riding by the category 3 and category 4 team. So in with Hermansen, the rider in the green skin suit, the sprint leader on the way through there, just riding nicely off the front of the group, taking away the wind, got the blue helmet on, just tucked in that bunch, hiding out of the wind in the draft as they come past the 7.5 kilometre marker. They're going to be heading out around the course. The next checkpoint coming up, well, it's 9.3k from checkpoint 1 to checkpoint 2. That's further down the course at 15.8k. At 18.4k, you have checkpoint 3. That's the next of our sprint checkpoints. Category 6, our leaders on the road. They're well past that point. They're at 22.9, and that means that they are now on to our climb section here. You can see that the gradient describe it on the right-hand side. You can see the percentage at 6%. The red line sloped at an angle, which shows they're going up. It moves from right to left. The position of the road is shown by the yellow vertical bar. You can see that those discs that we talked about earlier now separated out, leading the group, then 2 chase groups behind, and then we have another big group much further down the hillside, probably about 1,200 to 1,300 meters. The leading group is splitting and losing riders as well. We're going to see another fracture here as they come up over the top of that point. They've gone over the bridge, over the roadway. They've made their way out the other side, and these groups are starting to break here. Agudelo, Bremner, Narvaez, Solorzano, Lodano, all in this group. Agudelo is in here, so is Almeida. So an interesting pack in here. Narvaez and Agudelo, along with Solorzano, all riding for the Tour de France squad. Bridget Bremner in here riding individually, so she won't count for the team, but she may be taking a couple of spots in terms of that overall. Interesting to see the Lodano in here for the Royal Ascent squad. There are prizes for the top 7 teams in the race. 3 riders to count, those 3 riders' times, the fastest 3 riders added together, the team with the lowest team time, but having 3 riders finishing. The fastest time is position 1, second fastest time position 2, and so on across all of the teams. Top 7 teams taking away prizes on the Sunday Race Club finals. We move from category 6 to category 5. We have got Wilhelm Kennedy, Marshall Quintero, big group of riders here in category 5. The category 5 riders, well, they went through that Mompox City sprint, and in category 5 at that point, all together, we had essentially a group of 26 riders. 26 riders that came through that Mompox City sprint. It was flat from there to the base of the climb, but you can already see a number of riders distanced at least 1 further down around this hairpin turn. This big group now shedding riders in 2s and 3s off the back of it as well. The line stretching, you want to be right at the front. Quintero, the rider leading this group up on the climb with Wilhelm for company at the moment. And Gentili's in here, Idzik's in here, Tijera Joy Mayer in here, Aranda Cahul in here, pushing strongly on this climb. Alzet's in here as well, Gabriella Marshall, Brooks Samuel in the group. Narvaez is in here, still a big group. They need to make some decisive moves on the way up here, reinforce it across the FRB, the flat rolling bumpy section from climb 1 to climb 2, and then hold it on that final sprint up to the line. Right-hand turn come in. They go over the checkpoint, going over the bridge, over the roadway. They're going to come up. They are slowly but surely making their way up onto the back of the Category 6 leaders. They are further up this climb. As you can see those purple dots further up towards the top of the screen ahead of the riders on the radar view. So Category 6 at the moment, the leader Bremner leading out from Botero at the moment. Matero riding for that Royal Ascent squad, now starting to stretch her legs. She's got Lundano in that leading group just behind. Sarasu is also in that pack. The Tour de France packing out at Category 6 at the moment. Category 5 leading the group, just starting to fracture the gap, starting to open as Gentili stretches her legs on the front here. So at the moment, Claudia Gentili just starting to open the gap to the rest of the group, gets pulled back into the fold. Category 4, they take the right-hand turn. This is the key moment. They go straight through here. No deviating around the roundabout. They're going to go straight on, and then it's that tight left-hand turn that takes them onto the climb proper. That's where the ascending starts as they make their way up to the top of the climb. They climb all the way from 21.4k right the way up to 27.4k, 6k of climbing basically up. That's where the Category 3 are heading. They're at 19.8 kilometers, so still a little way to go to hit the base of the climb. Just over 1.5 kilometers in distance to do. Now on the left-hand side of your screen, all these riders having gone through that Mompox City Sprint Category 3. Now the fastest rider through there was Pavia from Kong, from Desegna, from Rossum and Manfrom. In Category 4, Corrales from Schultz, from Mongeli, from Kawazuska, from Cisioka. In Category 5, it was Hannah Hermansen from Knowles, from Samuel, from Girardo and Stevenson. And in Category 6, on that last sprint before the climb, it was Hamilton, Arias, Almeida, Limbago, and Hadjuk, who all scored points. Back in with Category 1. In with Mina Koistonen. Mina Koistonen back into Category 1. A very honest post from Koistonen as she made her way in through to the end of the racing, moving back up into Category 1. Mina Koistonen back in Category 1. It was great to see her there, the MyWhoosh champion for 2025, making her way back to the top category, to Category 1, as she came through. It was Category 2 in the MyWhoosh Championship. Her performance in that earned her the right to go back into Category 1, and Mina coming back to form very, very quickly. The new addition to the family, Dunn and Dustin now enjoying, I'm sure, having the new addition with them, but also being able to go back into racing, and that recovery, that speed with which Mina Koistonen has come back up to Category 1. Fantastic, a real example, and very well mapped out on social media. Some very honest and thought-provoking posts from Mina about how she got there, how she's dealt with moving her way in and through. Koistonen riding strongly, and at the moment, you could never discount her 5 wins in Category 1 as a winner, but we will see if she can win here today. It'll be a big ask on the climb. One rider who we're definitely not going to discount on the climb, Francesca Tomasi, getting stronger and stronger. Phenomenal MyWhoosh Championship from Tomasi showed that she's not just a pure climber, that she's got some great leg speed, she's got some smart riding on her as well, and that she can ride very, very strongly. Ciao to Francesca in Italy. It's good to see her in action. It's going to be interesting to see how she goes. It could be ciao or buongiorno, depending on which whether we're going to be formal or not here on the Sunday Race Club. In some ways, we should be, because this is the finals, and it is a major championship. It's the biggest race, week in, week out here, putting riders all through verification from Category 6 to 1. But equally, it's one big family. Everybody here out doing what they love to do, out racing and running because they absolutely love it. Doing so on MyWhoosh that you can get on board with. You can download the app on iOS, on Android, or on Windows. Make sure you get on board as we see our next set of riders heading in towards the San Gil Sprint. Category 2 on the way down here at the moment. So this, the Sandgirl Sprint. Now we start to see the wind up on the front here as they start to make the way in. Now category 2 went the fastest riders through the Amazonian Sprint, but we will see if they're going to put the fastest time in. Anna Svarstrom on the attack again. Ortiz has gone hard, but she's going to get overtaken. Svarstrom is going to take this. So the sprint leader makes it 2 out of 2. Because Svarstrom leading at the end of the first sprint checkpoint, now takes maximum points on checkpoint 2. He goes in through that Sandgirl Sprint. The category 2 riders, though, not reaching that point as fast as category 3. Category 3 went through the Sandgirl Sprint. They reached that checkpoint in 25 minutes and 15 seconds. The fastest category 2 rider, Svarstrom, 25 minutes 19 seconds. So 5 seconds behind. But do you know what? Still slower, slower. And it has to be said, they are clearly saving their energy for when they go up on to that main climb. The first climb of the day is the longer of the two climb, 5.5k rather than 3.5k. And it's a bigger average gradient. The Medellin City climb, the first climb, 5.5k long with an average gradient of 5.9%. The Bogota climb checkpoint 3.5k long and 2.9% average gradient. A lower gradient, a much faster climb as well, taking at some serious pace. Now in with Joanna Cowan, another of our riders who has made her way up into category 1 relatively recently. Definitely a rider who we know is going to be likely to be taking on the climb, and I think very much another rider who has to be congratulated in terms of her performances. Moved up at the end of July and going into August into category 1 from category 2, consistently making her way in. And as the saying goes, and one of the things I always used to think when I moved up race categories was, you don't go faster and you don't get faster and you don't get great training riding with people who are slower than you. You get that when you ride with people who are faster than you, that will bring you on, particularly in competition. So when you move up into the groups, it could be that you're not at the very front, which would be, what we would expect. You come from leading your category, you move up a category, you get promoted, but then the competition gets harder. So you then have to work your way up, improve, and you're going to do that faster when you're riding with that group of fast riders. So great to see the riders making that progression, making that transition and working the way up and through as they move up. Be really interesting to see how they go on. Cameron with a great rider in qualifier number 4 on the MyWhoosh public qualifiers for the UCI Cycling Esports Championships. All 4 qualifiers are available to watch on the YouTube channel for MyWhoosh. So the public qualifiers, the first step along the road to those finals that are live in person in Abu Dhabi on the 15th of November. The semi-finals are on the 3rd of October, and we will find out once we move into September. It's coming quick. Next week, potentially sometime in September, we will find out who is going to be in those finals in October. The process does involve the national federations allocating and nominating their riders from their allocated slots, and then the riders moving in from the public qualification to fill the rest of the slots up to that 150 places. Now, I expect to see most of these riders that we see on our screen on Sunday Race Club are in that final. At the moment, though, this is the big kick off from the line. They're aiming to take away the sprint points here. Good to see Bridget Filensky, another rider who moved from category 2 to category 1, taking on Lisa Hermansen. And it is Filensky, big sprinter Filensky here goes through. She's got some big power. She kicks on through. Not many people can beat Lisa Hermansen when she's got the bit between her teeth, but my goodness me, Filensky nailed that sprint, showed just what explosivity she has. That big kick and that explosion, it's not just about having the pure speed, it's the way that you can snap and really turn it on fast. Filensky hitting that, the fastest riders to that point, the category 1 riders. Bridget Filensky scoring maximum points, taking the segment in category 1, Svarstrom in 2, Kong in 3, Schultz in 4, Hermansen, Hannah Hermansen in 5, and Houghton in category 6. And yes, both the Mansons are related. Though they wouldn't necessarily be in Sweden, but Yes, they are. Great riding by Bridget Flensky. Flensky, another of our riders who's moved up from category 2 to category 1, a rider who the sprint checkpoints clearly her target on the way through. May not be as close in close contention as we go on to the climb. We're in with Claudia Gentili, who we've seen really leading the category 5 onto the climb as one big group. The damage behind Gentili has been steadily done as riders have been really taken from the main bunch, spread across the hillside. It's like a long, smooth line down this climb here because Gentili has wound everybody off the back of her wheel, and she's now overtaking riders and putting them between herself and the two chasing riders behind. So at the moment, Claudia Gentili ahead of Wilhelm and Quintero. So Gentili at the moment opening up a gap here. If Gentili can continue to push here in category 5, this will be a great result for her, because this means that she will be able to put some time in for the Phoenix squad as they make their way up the climb here. Now, chasing is Wilhelm at the moment. So Wilhelm, the nearest rider, she rides for the pedal dancers squad. Behind then we've got Quintero, and Quintero also riding for the pedal dancer squad. They've got two riders in second and third place. Then it's going to be Idzik and Joy Mayer behind. So Natalia Idzik at the moment currently in fourth place for the women's squad. And then you've got Roname Joy Mayer, and Roname Joy Mayer at the moment riding it for Cycling District 5. So that means that we have only one team with two riders inside the top of 5 as they make their way up. Marshall, though, is in that bigger chasing group behind. So Marshall not that far out of the contention, but she rides for the Velocity Vipers, another team inside that top 10. So a real spread of riders. The team competition going to be close, I think, in category 5 if the form continues as it's going at the moment. That's the right-hand side of your screen. On the left-hand side of your screen, in with Bridget Bremner on the climb in category 6. The category 6 leaders at the moment. The leaders on the road, although there's that chase coming behind from Gentili has closed down all but 9 of the leading riders, and they're the 9 riders that you can see on the left-hand side of your screen as they make their way up here. Bremner, Narvaez, Liu, as well as Agadello, Botero, Sarasu, Solzano still in that group, just at the very back of that pack, though. At the moment, though, it's Bridget Bremner who is absolutely storming up here, setting the rhythm as they make their way up. Meanwhile, back with category 1, Lisa Hermansen looking to roll back in to top spot again on this sprint, take away that sprint prize on the Monpok City Sprint. She's gone clear of the rest. Valensky not making that a competition as she went through. So it's Hermansen from what is going to be, I think, Poulsen as they hit the line there. Just going to get a double check of that sprint result. So provisionally, it's Lisa Hermansen from Anna Caramello, from Amanda Poulsen, Cornelia Engstrom, and Amelia Van Hove. 5 seconds separating Hermansen and the rest of the bunch as the bunch came in through. So Hermansen, you can see they're taking the sprint segment prize in category 1. Svarstrom in 2, Pavia in 3, Corrales in 4, Hermansen in 5. So Hannah Hermansen and Lisa Hermansen both scoring their category 5. Hannah Hermansen for the Aeronova squad, and then Jessica Hamilton taking the sprint segment on the way through for category 6. Hamilton will wrap up the sprint jersey in category 6. Lisa Hermansen in category 1. And don't forget, all of those results available on MyWhoosh.com. So www.mywhoosh.com. Make sure, of course, that you check that out. Go on to the results. It's on the main menu. And don't forget that when it gets a blue stamp of approval, that means that all the results are then verified. The verification process starts before the riders start racing. So that is in terms of weight, in terms of height. Then all of the equipment checked. They have to complete a power passport. So that is basically analysing and putting down what they can do across a range of parameters. It's not just an FTP test. And then all of the riders complete that passport, and then the riders, as they race, record on two sources of power meter, which are compared. They then have the heart rate, and that gives a very individual signature, which is unique to them, and that then is compared, and that historic data that's been built up on the Sunday Race Club compared. That's done for all of the riders, and only once all of the riders in all 6 categories have been checked and verified, and you can imagine what a monumental job that is, then are the results verified and they get that blue stamp of approval. In with our leaders at the moment, Bremner leading this out. Almeida, though, in the chase, so is Narvaez. Narvaez currently in 2nd place. Agadello holding 4th place. They're on your screens at the moment. They're really working hard here. You can see the effort from these riders here, breathing hard, all chasing Bremner. Bridget Bremner, my goodness me, she woke up this morning, reached in the wardrobe, pulled out the climbing legs and went, right, these will do today. This is what we're going to have. Let's see what we can do on the climb. And Bridget Bremner is climbing phenomenally. Great place to go ride New Zealand and Australia. Lots of great riders coming from there, from the South Pacific, doing a phenomenal job out and racing. And Bremner on the climb at the moment makes her way up here. She's got Narvaez and Agadello for company. So the 2 riders on the bottom of your screen make the junction. Almeida currently at 1 second off the race leader. It's hardly anything. She's in 4th place. Agadello 5th place for Almeida. Now a push coming from behind, because you can see racing through. Claudia Gentili has caught all but Bridget Bremner and is going to take herself up into the race lead before they get to the top of the climb. Claudia Gentili at the moment riding herself up here. A real fantastic climbing pace set by Claudia Gentili in category 5. 2 wins on the Sunday Race Club so far. Her first win in the Sunday Race Club coming some while ago. That was back in October of 2023, riding for the squad, the Team Purple squad, in category 3 when we had 4 categories. Now, a second win, a little bit more recent, that came in and was done in the women's finals for the Kitty Hawk Racing Moonpaw squad in July, at the end of July. So that was on the Yebble Yates that we were on for our last finals. Come the finals, once again, Claudia Gentili climbing incredibly well. So Gentili and Bremner, the 2 fastest riders from categories 5 and 6 respectively, come over the top. Wilhelm is going to join Gentili here. So our leaders become 2. And Claudia Gentili, after doing the harder graft there, needs to not let this wheel go, because Bremner's continued to push. Bremner's very aware. She's got 8 seconds on Narvaez, Agadello, Almeida, and Liu. They need to continue to push here, because once you come into this has been named by my usual co-host, Emma Martin, as the FRB, the flat rolling bumpy section. And it's a tough section in between. You can gain or lose time by riding smart on there on the flat rolling and bumpy, using the flat sections to build speed, the rolling bumps to generate pace on the downhills, and if you sprint over the uphills, you can make time on somebody who's just recovering on them very, very much. One rider I think who would absolutely love to be right at the very front here, and that is Rosalina Barragan. We've got Barragan on our screens here on the left-hand side. Evening, night, early morning, depending on whereabouts in the United States Barragan is at the moment. So it's dark behind her, but making sure that she makes the gets that alarm set, or maybe just didn't bother going to bed at all on the way through. The moment Barragan nicely riding away up here. Ahead of her, Angel Hadlock and Larissa Hybor are the riders leading this out. The chasing group of 3 is Perry, Barragan and Elos at the moment. Hadlock, who took away the climber's jersey on the MyWhoosh Championships, once again riding her way up the climb in a position where she's going to potentially take away those checkpoints. She's up against Larissa Heiborg, a rider from the Netherlands, who's ridden 16 at Sunday Race Club's got 2 wins, though, so definitely cannot be discounted. Took a winning qualifier race number 1 in August. Took a winning qualifier race number 3 in July, up against Angel Hadlock. Angel on our screens once again, regular rider, regular visitor to Angel's Pain Cave. Is the production of the Sunday Race Club Finals and the MyWhoosh Championships. And Angel Hadlock, one of our fantastic riders, featured very heavily on the new podcast that is out inside the ride. You can watch that on the YouTube channel as well. Cy Brayley and Matt Smithson sit down to discuss a lot of the Sunday Race Club and the MyWhoosh Championships. So great to see them featuring a number of our riders who make up the community. Hadlock here, out of the saddle, sprints, sits down, needs another big kick here. She's just trying to hold off. You can see doing just enough here to keep Highboard behind there. Hadlock goes through. She's going to take away the polka dot skin suit. The Avatar changes jersey into the white with the polka dots. Angel Hadlock in the trademark black there. But at the moment, metaphorically, in white and red, in the polka dots as the fastest climber in category 4 to that point. So the climbs allocating points in 5 to 1. Category 4, Hadlock taking 5 points, Highborg taking 4, Elos taking 3, Perry taking 2, and Barragan taking 1. In category 5, it was Gentili with 5, Wilhelm with Gentili with 5, Wilhelm with 4, Isaac with 3. Then Quintero with 2, and it's going to be Navies with 1. In category 6, it was Bremner, Navies, Agadella, Almeida, and Liu taking 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points on the first of our climbs. Meanwhile, Gemma Daniels in category 3 looking to take away top spot in that category 3 race. Gemma Daniels has shown that when it goes skywards, she's definitely a rider that you've got to watch. Gemma Daniels leading this out at the moment, and the category 3 rider who's got 3 wins to her name, currently ahead of Emily Nyquist. Nyquist working hard here. They predict she would be up in the mix, but Gemma Daniels has taken that away. Daniels took the win in category 3 on the climb stage of the MyWhoosh Championship. She took away top spot in that race. She took away a third place in the time trial with that uphill finish on there. Very much a case that she goes well when it goes uphill. Now, took a win in Lula on qualifier race number 1 previously on the Yebel her feet with that big climb at the finish on the Heritage Climb course in Lula as well. So a runner who really does excel going uphill. And it's going to be an interesting battle. Who's expended too much energy? Who's got something left in category 3? Daniels from Nyquist from Sopers. In category 3, the 3 riders who've gone through the checkpoint at the top of the Medellin City climb so far. So Gemma Daniels just with Diana Corrales here in category 4, and Palmer Mongelli also in the mixed. Mongelli's been in that sprints competition with Corrales all day long, but now in a group of chasers in category 4. They have riders up the road, 10 individual prizes, 3 team prizes, absolutely key. Make sure you get yourself into position as we are in with Maricel Ortiz at the moment. So Ortiz really working here in category 2 on the climb. Sophie Giovanni leading them up at the moment with Goslander in here, Ortiz in here. The big group are working their way up this climb. Who's going to take this out? This, I think, is going to be all about making sure that you are in a position as you go around that left-hand turn and on to that final kick for the line. Meanwhile, category 1, move being made. Guerra and McCarthy are on the move, on the climb. In category 1 are 2 top protagonists in terms of the women's cycling esports. That's Guerra and McCarthy clear at the moment, and it is Guerra who's setting the pace at the moment from McCarthy. Behind that is still a group of riders at 10 seconds, now 11 seconds. Alberg, Felt, Mayer and Fua, all good climbers. Korchinski's in that group as well. So the group's just sticking together behind. I wonder whether they're going to just set a pace that they can all hold and then work together as a team. They can't let the gap go too far. There are going to be limited options in terms of what these riders can do, because you don't want to let the time gap go too far. You don't want to save too much on climb number 1 because you can't necessarily use it in climb number 2. So our 2 leaders on the climb number 1, Today, the first of our checkpointed climbs, the Medellin City climb, total distance 5.5k. This climb finishes when you get to 27.4 kilometers, so just under 3 kilometers left. Guerra at the moment putting the pace down. McCarthy sticking to the back wheel. The bunch comes sweeping around the corner behind, and it's the distance of the road in front of you that you can see that separates the two leaders in Category 1 from the chasers behind. Well, on to this climb, taking a left-hand turn here. Guerra, McCarthy, very evenly matched. Both riders that we get to see on our screens on a regular basis. Both are regular winners, both fearsome competitors, incredibly well matched. At the moment, Guerra doing a lot of work, a lot of heat training work. I'm sure that is in preparation for the potential trip to Abu Dhabi in November. Even in October, when we were there last year, spectacularly hot. During the daytime. In fact, it's so warm at the moment, the production team tell me that there is not a lot you can do in the middle of the day, but basically hide in the air conditioning or sleep. Take your pick. Depends whether you're at work or not, I guess. The riders, well, they've got to perform in that, and that will be in November, live in person, on stage. Make sure you're going to be down there. If you're looking to be going to the venue and going to be watching in person, make sure you give those riders a shout. If you're going to be watching on a screen, you'll be joining myself and Emma Martin as we put words to the action, and we'll bring you as much as we can of that race coverage during the course of the racing. And I'm looking forward to seeing, I'm sure, a battle between Guerra and McCarthy in person in Abu Dhabi as they fight that out against each other on the stage and on the roads of MyWhoosh. MyWhoosh, the partner for the UCI for 2024, 25 and 26. Some brilliant racing already as part of the UCI World Championships in public qualifiers 1, 2, 3 and 4, and in our regular qualifiers for the nations. So a lot of the nations running their qualification races on MyWhoosh, because that means that the riders are riding on the platform that they're going to be racing the World Championships on. So the gap back now really opening up. It was not that long ago, 11 seconds. It's now well over 25, now nearly 30 seconds. You can see our two protagonists on the screen. Gabby Guerra in the yellow jersey in avatar form, out of the saddle on the bottom of your screen. Meanwhile, McCarthy, no mistake, in the World Championship jersey in the background on the wall, and of course on the shoulders of the avatar as they climb up here now. McCarthy comes alongside Guerra as she goes on the right-hand shoulder in avatar shape. At the moment, both riders together. McCarthy known for those spectacular explosive efforts where she sheds the rest of the riders. Will she go on this climb, or will she wait until the very last climb? McCarthy's explosive power always shows both phenomenal athletes, phenomenal riders, and incredible dedication from both riders to be at the stage that they're at. You see them both at the end of the race, and they're both absolutely spent at the end of a Sunday race. So now we just see a little bit of a push. McCarthy goes up onto the front there, just seen 10 watts per kilo come from McCarthy. So the McCarthy in action has opened a gap. She put in a kick. Guerra, as they came round that turn, was just left behind. The cameras left. McCarthy kicked as we left them, just, I think, waiting for the opportunity to do it a little bit more incognito as she went clear, or as much as you can on Cycling Esports without the camera on her there. So interesting timing by McCarthy, waiting until they went off the screen. Now we go back on screen there. You can see, look at the face of McCarthy. She's gone hard, she's gone long, and gone on this climb. Guerra now at 9 seconds, and Gabby Guerra, I think, is now riding her pace. She's sitting at the moment at 7 watts per kilo. She's got a gap, though, 29 seconds back to the chasers behind. And now Guerra is in a familiar pace position, chasing McCarthy, race leader, but equally having to stay clear of everybody behind. McCarthy's got one mission: get to the top, get that gap as big as you can, hold it through FRB, through the flat rolling bumpy section, and right the way up to that finishing line. One mission, one focus, look forward, ride as hard as you can, get that training in. And we've got to remember all of this. When they've got a gap, they could sit up. That's not good training. That's not an important full-on race training session, and their training plan will want them to go hard, and they will want them to get that maximum, to push that body, to improve it week on week as they come into the finals to see what so they're coming in with the best possible performance as they come into those World Championships. Behind, Kristen Kolczynski leads the chasing group on this climb. Merle Bruni able to stay with her. So is Holcroft. Just behind then, Alberg, Mayer, Fuhr. At the moment, just being distanced by a few seconds. It's the pace of Kolczynski at the moment on the front here with the blue cap on just ahead of Merle Bruni. Good to have Merle Bruni back with us. Bruni having to miss the championships, the MyWhoosh championships, I think, get sorely gutted, particularly when she was watching so much of the coverage as well. Would have loved to be there. We'd have loved you to be there, Miller, as well, but not to be this time round. I'm sure she'll be at the World Championships alongside Kolczynski, Holcroft. Alberg surely has got to be one of Sweden's big picks for that as well as they make their way up the climb. Meanwhile, Category 1 leader ahead is Kate McCarthy, goes through the Category 2 group here and absolutely flying through. So that group of chasers in Category 2 see the world champion fly through 6.5 watts per kilo. She's chasing the leaders on this climb in Category 2. She's not going to catch him before the top of the climb because I think it's going to be Marisol Ortiz who's going to lead through, or is it? No, Jennifer Goslander says, well, you might have been going for the sprints, but I'm going to take this on the climb. Goslander had been biding her time. Jennifer Goslander's a regular on our screens, but I tell you something, she's one of our smartest riders when it comes to putting in the effort. You saw her there holding the wheel, staying out of the wind, but when it came to it, boom, kick, go, job done, mission accomplished. Ease off, jump back in the group, sit there, wait to deploy. Absolutely brilliant timing. Really, really smart, using the kick on the climb there to take away the points in Category 2. So Category 2, right-hand side of your screen, just coming through the top of climb number 1. Left-hand side of your screen, we have the Wilhelm Gentili duo on the climb here. This is the run in towards our finish because they're at 34.2 kilometers. So they are essentially now heading in to the last 700 meters as they come up here. 34.3. This is the run for the checkpoint, first of all, for the climb points. Gentili took it from Wilhelm first time around. Gentili just squeezing on those pedals down, lifting the pace. She knows she's got just over 100 meters to the checkpoint. It's going to come into sight. Here it comes. Has Wilhelm got an answer in terms of the climbs? I don't think she has. This is going to give the impetus to Gentili as Wilhelm kicks at 6 watts per kilo. I think it's going to be too little too late to take the sprint points, sorry, the checkpoint at the top. Well, those points, Gentili's going to score maximum points on the climbs competition. 2 wins. Now Wilhelm goes over the top here. Now she keeps squeezing on those pedals. Has Gentili got an answer? Time ticking down. 400 meters to go. Gentili's taking the climbs competition, but did she do too much to take that? Wilhelm now taking the opportunity. 3.9 watts per kilo. Wilhelm's up in 2 seconds on Gentili. Gentili's got to press reset fast, and she's got to get some speed back into those legs, because at the moment Wilhelm is riding away towards a race victory here. So as they come up onto the climb, Gentili towards the top of the bridge, can see ahead. Wilhelm leaving the wooden decking of the bridge top, going on to the asphalt, onto the tarmac. They've got a tight right-hand turn to go, and then it sweeps to the left. Wilhelm surely now has done enough. Gentili went for the climb competition. She's taken the climb competition, but the bigger prize of the race win overall in Category 5 is going to go to Wilhelm. Surely she's done enough now. $280 the win on the Sunday Race Club in Category 5. As she goes up over the top here, she'll know that that's going to be heading her direction, subject to that verification process. Wilhelm on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club August monthly final. It's going to be Maria Wilhelm takes victory here today on the Paso Alto course here. What a victory for Wilhelm. Behind Gentili, it's going to be second place. It's going to be the climbs competition. Wilhelm leading them home. but she now has to wait along with Gentili to see what will happen in that team competition in Category 5. First points are struck by Gentili of the Phoenix squad. Second place, the Pedal Dancers. And that is Maria Wilhelm taking that placing. Now a bit further down the slopes, Category 6, the leader is Giuliano Agadello. She's chasing the riders in front because she knows they are all on that run into the finishing line here today. Wilhelm in 1, Gentili in 2, Isaac in 3. In Category 5, in Category 6, Giuliano Agadello on her way to the line. It's going to be Agadello's day here today on the August monthly final of the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. The Tour de France rider leads them home. She's going to take top spot behind. The chase is on Bridget Bremner, trying to make her way up to that finishing line. She's going to try and take away top spot. A little bit further down the slopes, you can see Category 4 battle unfolding as they come to the line. Larissa Heiborg has gone ahead of Angel Hadlock. This is a repeat of what we saw earlier on as we see the climbs leader having to give best. It's going to be Larissa Heiborg who's going to take away victory in Category 4. Here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club finals for August. It'll be Angel Hadlock who takes away second place and takes away the climb competition in Category 4. Meanwhile, in Category 3, looks like Emily Nyquist is going to take this. She hits the line. She does. Nyquist from Soapers, well, not often my pick for the top makes it. It wasn't the commentator's cursor today as they come in and through the line there. So, let's round up some of these scores on the doors because absolutely packed race finish there. Let's start off Category 6. The Category 6 riders coming in and over the line. Giuliana Agadello taking top spot, number 1. Then second place going to Bridget Bremner. Third place at Jacqueline Almeida. A fourth place to Julia Navarez. And a fifth place to Ting Liu. Then in Category 5. Category 5 race winner was Maria Wilhelm from Claudia Gentili in second, Natalia Isaac in third, Sofia Rodriguez in fourth, and then Valentina Quintero in fifth place, Roname Joy Mayer in sixth, Jackie Giuliano in seventh, Gabrielle Marshall in eighth place. As they came in through, I think Navies taking ninth, Kennedy taking 10th, as they came in and over the line in Category 5. In Category 4, well, it was indeed Larissa Heiborg of the Steel Eagles squad ahead of Unshakable's Angel Hadlock. And then it was Georgia Perry of the K-pop Hunters in third place. Fourth place was also her teammate Elos there, with Unshakable's Barragan in fifth. Hamarson in sixth, Hyde in seventh, Kawazuska in eighth, Atahualpa in ninth place, Tsusioka in 10th. In Category 3, Emily Nyquist taking top spot from Emily Soapers in second, Gemma Daniels in third, Kim Manila in fourth, Lucy Young in fifth, then Jennifer Real, Jem Real in sixth, Barbara Ballara in seventh place. And that's so far in over the line. All those results provisional live as they come to us here in the commentary box, and all, of course, subject to verification. In terms of team competitions, Tour de France taking the win in Category 6. Category 5, Phoenix from the Pedal Dancers, from Velocity Vipers, from Full Gas Femmes. In Category 4, it is the Unshakable squad who've got top spot from K-pop Hunters. And in Category 3, Riot 3, ahead of the Attack Pack, ahead of Wanderers, and then the Red Rebel Riders. Meanwhile, heading up towards the finish at some pace, 200 metres separates Kate McCarthy, the world champion, on the left-hand side of your screen in that polka dot skin suit, from Gabriel Guerra on the right-hand side of your screen. 1 and 2 on the road once again. So McCarthy making her way up here, looking to do exactly what she did here when she first joined the Sunday Race Club. This is where she got her first race win. Looking to repeat that as she goes in towards the line. behind it, you can see Korchinski working hard. Then another group back is going to be Fua, but the riders at the moment are having to give best to our race leader. This is in the Category 1 race. Category 2, well, they are still on the way up the climb, heading up towards the line as well. And you can see Gabby Guerra just closing in, I think, on the leading group of Category 2 here as they come in around the turn. Just double checking that there's not somebody up the road, though, because that is very often the case. I think there is indeed one rider up the road. We're just going to double check there, but this may well be the leaders coming in through here. So look at this, a very fast ride by McCarthy. She's absolutely flying. She's ridden 54 races so far on the Sunday Race Club. This will be number 55. She's had 37 wins to date, with 7 second places and just the 1 third place to her name. Meanwhile, Gabby Guerra chasing hard behind, also coming past the group. You can see the speed, though, of McCarthy, left-hand side of your screen. These two riders in a real, almost traditional pursuit, 26 seconds separating Guerra from McCarthy as they continue to push up the road here. They're going to come into this tight left-hand turn. They're at 32.8k for Guerra, 33.2 as they go over the top. So I tell you something, this is going to be really very much about pursuit. Nobody letting off. Nobody letting off the throttle. They're too close for anybody to ease back. And behind Guerra, then there are plenty of people waiting. But she's got a little bit more room for sliding room, a little bit more room for comfort. But knowing Gabby Guerra, she will want to get right the way in and through that finishing line before she makes her way over that line. She's not going to back off. She's going to keep on pushing all the way in and through. Now, McCarthy, her first ride on the Sunday Race Club was back in 2022, November 2022. Her first win on the Paso Alto, that happened way back 25th of August 2024. The women's finals in August in 2024 went to Kate McCarthy. This is 2025. We're on the Paso Alto once again. We're on the climb, and Kate McCarthy is doing the business once again. She's taken a 3rd place in qualifier race number 3. And then she started that prolific winning run that has seen her take so many of those wins. It's not been a one-way street by any stretch of the imagination, and it's not won every race since then. But just taking a look through, she's been off the podium once in the entire time she's raced. In every single race that she has raced on MyWhoosh in the last year, she has never been off the podium with one exception, just the once. It was an 8th place. That shows you the power of the pace, the skill, and just how good McCarthy is. She's leading this out behind Gabby Guerra. Guerra coming on to the Sunday Race Club, really making her mark, racing strongly now, showing that she really is the nearest challenger to McCarthy, regularly taking always on the rest of the races. But unfortunately for Guerra, she's up against the phenomenal talent that is Kate McCarthy, the world champion, who goes underneath that polka dot banner, signifying maximum points in the climbs competition. McCarthy, we are watching the current world champion in training and racing for a race win simultaneously. She's got her eyes on a prize to retain that jersey, to get another one to hang on the wall in November in Abu Dhabi live. You can see this in person. You can get yourself down there. Make your way over to Abu Dhabi. It's a fantastic place. There's so much history, so many amazing places, so much great architecture, and most importantly, it's the home of bike riding at the moment on Cycling Esports, because my goodness me, it's got the World Championships. It's backing it up with Community Rise Out, getting new bodies with bums on seats all around the globe. It's producing great racing week in, week out for everybody from Category 6 to Category 1. Our world champion is into the final few meters here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club for August. It's our monthly final. It's the world champion, Kate McCarthy, takes the win. She comes over the line, 38 wins, exactly a year after she started winning. She has continued winning here today. Now, Gabby Guerra on the chase, on the move, looking to close down that time gap. She'll be looking for another great training session. She'll be looking to come to peak form when she gets into Abu Dhabi. She's spotted another phenomenal performance here once again. Gabby Guerra is going to make this another podium. It's going to be second place here today as she comes to the line. It is our August monthly final, and Gabby Guerra becomes over the line, second place here. Behind, this is the running category 2. Jennifer Goslander has shown that the climb kick, well, that kick sprint works on the finishing line today. Jennifer Goslander takes the winning category 2. She comes over the line. So our category 2 race winner in and through. Goslander just taking that from Ortiz in second place, Vittori in third, Wagner in fourth, Giannatti in fifth, Giovanni in sixth. And it's going to be the rest of the race just starting to come in. Just doing a double check on our screens though, because category 1 are on the way as well. So McCarthy in 1, Guerra in 2. Here comes the run for third place, and Mil Bruni's gone over the top of Kristen Kolczynski. Mil Bruni is going to make this number 3 here today in category 1. There'll be a 4th place for Kristen Kolczynski. It's going to be a 5th place, top 5 for Maria Holcroft. A 6th place, I think, for Catherine Fuhr, just ahead of Camilla Alberg in 7th position. So Fuhr comes in over the line, the medalist from the World Championships in 2024, makes her way in over the line ahead of rising star Camilla Alberg. Alberg making her way in through there in 7th position. Well, the rest of the riders on the way up. Melissa Scriven here in category 6, just coming to the line, getting to watch all of these riders come past. A real grandstand finish just ahead of the Australian Kate Trudin and Amelia Velt, categories 2 and 1 respectively, as the big category 2 bunch comes in and through. Category 1 all done and dusted, with Van Hove coming through in 9th place. Those are your top 9 riders so far in category 1. As you can see, though, Kate McCarthy's time here today in the finals, 58 minutes, 57 seconds. And in the past year, since that first win on the Paso Alto, the time has improved. The time for the Paso Alto on the finals in August in 2024, 1 hour, 2 minutes, 32 seconds. So that shows you that that is going to be a phenomenal improvement. That is 3 minutes 33 seconds quicker today than a year ago, and that is the improvement we're seeing for that consistent racing at the very highest level here on MyWhoosh. The only rider inside of a minute to McCarthy taking that victory. Gabby Guerra 39.988 seconds down on McCarthy in second place there. Bruni in third, 1 minute 30 down, 4 seconds ahead of Kristen Kolczynski in fourth, with the top 5 being rounded out by Maria Holcroft of Ablock International. In terms of team competitions, well, Velocity Vikings taking victory in category 2 from the Riot squad. In category 1, well, Ablock International do it again. McCarthy, Kolczynski and Holcroft, the winning team in category 1. From Sweat Sensations, Guerra, Bruni and Fuhr. And then the breakaways with Alberg, Van Hove and Gallegos, just ahead of Endorphins, Tomasi, Brown and Lethbridge. All the results at the moment provisional, all on the MyWhoosh website. That's mywhoosh.com/results. Don't forget to download the app on iOS, on Android and on PC. Whatever works for you, get on board and ride on MyWhoosh. Make sure that you give MyWhoosh a follow on social media. It's at MyWhoosh. You can follow me. It's at Matt Fixer Payne. And my co-host Emma Martin is at Biking_Emma. Now on international duty today. It does mean it's going to be me once again for the men's race, backed up by the astounding team who make it all happen behind the scenes at MyWhoosh. Got to say a massive thank you to them, to you for watching. Time for our riders to get some recovery and to get settled in to watch the men's race for the men. It's time to get ready. That's going to be our next race here on MyWhoosh. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get notified whenever we go live. But from me, Matt Payne, stay safe. I'll see you in a short while. Goodbye. So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, the monthly finals. Welcome back. If you're watching our women's race, it was absolutely brilliant to see riders across all 6 categories racing on the Paso Alto course. Some very tight battles in the team competition and in the individual races. Some expected winners and maybe some surprises in there as well. Don't forget you can get the results on mywhoosh.com/results. You can also check out loads of extra information at mywhooshinfo.com, including the new Hall of Fame tables that tell you who has won the most, who's ridden the most, who's got the most King of the Mountains, who's the most Queen of the Mountains. Loads of stats on there. Don't forget to jump on board, particularly once we've reached the end of our men's race. This is the parkour that face the riders, the course profile. We have our 3 sprint checkpoints at 3 kilometres, 10.4 kilometres and 15.8 kilometres respectively. We then go on to the Medellin city climb. The climb commencing at 21.9k and the checkpoint itself coming at 27.4k. We then travel across 2.6 kilometres, 3.6 kilometres, sorry, to the start to climb 31k. We hit the big climb. This is 13.5 kilometers long to the top of the Bogota climb. The checkpoint itself comes some 500 meters before the finish, so at 44.5k. As you can see, the first section basically flat. There are some ripples, some bridges, some bumps, and little trigger points, which means that you could well see 1 or 2 riders trying to break away for a sprint. We may see riders trying to get a little bit of extra distance coming into the Medellin climb checkpoint and onto that climb itself, because it is the steeper of the 2 climbs with an average gradient of 6%. The section between our 2 climbs, known as the FRB, or the flat rolling bumpy section, because it's got a bit of each, that is very much the case of consolidate your lead if you're in front, and be smart, use groups if you are part of a group or if you have riders around you to accelerate up and to make a bit of time before the big climb. But a lot of today's action will take place on that final climb up. As with the women's race, 6 race categories. All the categories in the men's race are battling against each other on the same course, that same 45-kilometer race route here in the Paso Alto. Category 1, the last to go. Category 6, the first to go. There are standard race category. That's where we kick off the action. Each and every one of the Sunday Race Club that's here every Sunday of the year. We're here putting our words to the action. My name's Matt Payne. I'll be bringing you all of the action today, as my usual co-host is on international duty at the UCI Paracycling World Championships. Okay, let's run you through our teams. 11 teams in total. We've got 5 teams of 5, so they are the High 6 squad, the Spinergy squad, Cycling District 6 squad, the Level Carbon squad, and the ZTBR Caracas squad. All the rest of the teams, 6 teams, have 4 sets of riders in there. So that is BMC 6 with 4, the BMC 6s with 4, BMC 6Es with 4 riders as well. Level Titanium have 4, so do Wheelies Racing and ZTBR Yanomami. So 11 teams, 17 prizes up for grabs, a whole host of individual riders who'll be looking to profit from not having to follow team orders or have a team agenda as well. It's time to go racing. It is the August monthly final of the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Here we go. First riders out from the pen. Category 6 are away. They head out onto the Rosa Coffee Trail here in the Colombian world. A real fantastic place to ride. One of my favourite little routes on MyWhoosh at the moment. Clearly a favourite of Diarreo, who has gone out like an absolute rocket at 6.5 watts per kilo. Somebody has clearly been on the coffee this morning in Brazil, because he's gone. He's shot down the road and he's decided, you know what, let's just get this done. Let's get on with it. Let's get to the climbs. So at the moment, the gap opening up. That's a monstrous sprint off the front here. We'll see how long can he hold this for. There's got to be a limit onto the time. Currently 40 seconds. And now he drops down. Yeah, you're not going to get so far on your own, mate. It's a brutal way to ride a race, go off the front solo. But at the moment, looks like he's trying to do that. Meanwhile, back in the group, we're in with Roshi Teron. Good to see he's in here. Federico Bianchi in as well. Junior Silva in here. John Wakefield, Ian Decker, Brett McMurtry, Stephen Yates in the group as well. And some of the riders who in here in the individual competition could be relied on for sprints. Some for the climbs. Sprints maybe could be Michael Adekanye, could be Peter Connell, maybe closer to those climbs. But we'll see how these riders get on as they head out from the pens. And I think wisely just sitting in that group. But now are we going to see a move across? We're going to see somebody just try and pull clear, chase on to our leaders. Well, one man who's got plenty of experience is our ZTBR rider, is Osmar Vaz, who's up on our screens there. So good evening good morning. It's probably early hours of the morning for Osmar in Brazil, home of lots of great bike riders and races as well. You can just see tapping along nicely. Not got the traditional ZTBR jersey on for a change, which interesting to see. Riding for the ZTBR Caracas squad, a squad made up of 4 Brazilians, 1 Colombian rider. So a South American continental team for the ZTBR Caracas squad. As they head out here, they're going to pull back our early aggressor that went off like his pants were on fire. So let's dive in at the moment. Another of our Brazilian riders at the moment. This is Sugai that we're in with Eduardo Sugai in the pain cave today, and looking pretty comfy, just rolling a nice revs around 72 revs per minute. So clearly plenty more in the tank, hiding in the draft nicely as well, not expending too much energy. You see that from the numbers being in green there to match the Brazilian flag's background of green as they make the way along. Doesn't want to go too much into the grey because, of course, that means he's going to be in the wind. Another of the riders for ZTBR, this time for the Yanomami squad. So at the moment, this bunch of riders up and away. Quick reminder, the first of our checkpoints at 3 kilometres. So not very far into the race route here today. And that does mean that the riders have to be very aware of what's coming up in front of them. 700 metres to go to that first checkpoint. At the moment, we're now just starting to see that bunch become more active. Just starting to look like they want to take some interest on this. Xavier Maillard, very experienced rider, goes early. He comes into this left-hand turn. He puts a kick in. He's eased back off, and Sugai now goes. So Sugai, the rider we're just in with, up at 8 watts per kilo early here on the Amazon Lake Sprint. He's really pushed on. Has he got a gap? Well, he has, but it's not necessarily going to be enough because it may well be that Gacek has got the timing better. Gacek's coming, but now Gacek has to roll off the top of the pace. Sugai on the front kicks again. He had enough time to kick once, get enough recovery and kick for a second time. Eduardo Sugai has got to keep on pushing here. The banner is in front. This is for checkpoints. This is for money. This is for the points in the jersey. Gacek is coming. Gacek goes over the top. Gacek is going to take it from Sugai, I think, as he hit the line. Now, the Polish rider there, Grzegorz Gacek, is going to take that from Brazilian Eduardo Sugai, the ZTBR Yanomami rider in second place. Peter Connell taking third. Fielder taking fourth. And Lip Husky, well, that is the riders in the top 5 in Category 6. Our next group of riders waiting down at the start pens patiently, or maybe not so patiently. It's one of the things we don't have is the patience scale at the side of the riders. Difficult, that one, to judge. However, they're all ready to go. Here we are, Category 5, up and away. The first step up from Category 6. So the first of the steps up that ladder from Category 6 right the way through to our elite riders in Category 1. This big bunch of riders in Category 6 up and away. 60 riders on the start list in Category 5. Just 4 riders less than the 64 of Category 6. And as you can see, Ebbensfar on the front here. Looks like Grabiek and Smithson, Fossied and Mur in the mix behind Luke Allport in this group as well. So a real mix of riders. Doesn't look like anybody going for the crazy move off from the start. Let's quickly run you through the teams. We have 10 teams, 4 teams of 5, 4 teams of 4 and 2 teams of 3, which is the minimum that you need. Teams of 5, BMC Get Racing, along with the Dirt Beast Mode Squad, Level Avengers, and Level Up. The teams with 4, BMC Rule 5, the Cycling District 5. We also have Level Raiders along with Level Warriors. Teams with 3, well, that is the MPCC team and the ZTBR Chiruas squad. They are the teams with 3 riders, so they can't afford for anybody not to finish, because otherwise they won't finish in that team competition. 10 teams, 17 prizes. The team prize, very valuable indeed to our riders. The team prize in category 6, if you win the team prize in category 6, it is $740. If you win the team prize in category 5, $1,230. And the prize for the segments in category 5, which is where they're heading at the moment, is $20. But at the moment, they're not heading there fast, because 40 kilometers an hour is not necessarily quick for a bunch of this size, making their way in and around. The first set of riders to reach that first of our checkpoints, the Amazon Lake Sprint, was category 6, we just saw. 4 minutes 22 seconds it took them to get there. At the moment, we're on 2 minutes and they haven't yet reached the halfway point to it. So on that basis, they're going to be a fairly similar time to category 6. Now starting to see a move on the front. We're in with David Young from the United States of America, riding for the Dad's Indoors Riding Trainer Squad, the Dirt Squad. Brilliant squad, does a lot of work for charity, as well as riding on the turbo and getting themselves fit and fast as well. David in here, in with this group, and you can just see having to pick that pace up as the pace increases at the front, as they start to see that interest in that checkpoint start to generate. They've got to come around this left-hand turn, come sweeping through. It's still a fair way to the checkpoint to see. We're at 1.9k. We haven't yet hit 1,000 meters to go, and we've got somebody going for a long one on the front here. Luke Allport doing an Allport off the front. Thank you, Luke. He's on the move, and is he going to be able to take this away? He's gone for a long one. Now, is anybody going to come after him? It looks like Spiedel, the rider on the move behind Luke Allport. So can they close down the Level Avengers, man? At the moment, the chase is on. Spiedel, the rider, looking to take this away from him, looking to close the gap down. An individual rider, Spiedel, nothing at stake in terms of that team competition. Allport kicks on. He's still got 500 meters to go here. He knows where that checkpoint is. He knows it's going to be coming. These are potentially points in the bag in the sprint competition behind Joel Warren, Sprint King himself in category 5. Well, not long ago, Warren was a pretender to the crown. He's on his way. Marius Fossier, another big sprinters in there. Ola Warren looking to back up Joel Warren here today. Traditional lead-out man for Joel is Ola. However, at the moment, Luke Allport is holding on the front. Now the big kick starts coming through. Joel Warren has opened up 15 watts per kilo. Natari is coming over the top as well. Now Natari goes, he is the first to go past Luke Allport, but Joel Warren is going to come over the top of him, I think, here. He has Joel Warren. He's going to lead this through to the line. Fossier coming on his shoulder. Oh, nice and tight as they hit that line. Yeah, it was close between the two as they got to the line. Joel Warren takes that by 0.27 of a second. Less than 0.3 of a second, 0.3 of a second. Less than that separated the two riders on the line in category 5. What a run for the line. Warren taking the win on that segment from Fossier in second, Natari in third, Spiedel in fourth. Luke Allport getting a point for his endeavours there in 5th place. So let's move from category 5 to the next step up. This is category 4. Now our next set of riders who are about to leave the pen. We're in with Sammy Tuomi, our Finnish rider, about to head off. He'll be looking for the finish, spelt slightly differently, of course, as he makes his way towards that 45-kilometre marker. They're going to head out from the pace, head out onto race route, and very quickly up to pace. Big bunch of riders, another over 60 rider bunch, 62 riders in the category 4 race field as they make their way out from that start pen. Remember, the first checkpoint at 3 kilometers to go. 11 teams in contention in the racing for those 17 prizes. There are 7 teams of 5. So the BMC Anzacs, the BMC Racing, the BMC 4, along with Cycling District 4.1, Level Golden 4, and the On the Rivet Racing Squad, along with Pete Power Racing, all with 5 riders in their team. 2 teams of 4. That's going to be Cycling District 4, along with the Lorem Ipsum squad. The team with 3, well, 2 teams have 3 riders, so can't afford to lose anybody. Sami Tuomi, who we saw there, joined by Rusimaki Palaka of Ride Club Finland, and the Anunnakis, Largo, Flores, and Rodriguez. Also a team with 3 riders in there. Now, a reminder, it is those 3 riders, the fastest 3 riders who go through to count. If you only have 3, all 3 have got to be in there. I think Palaki, Rusimaki, and Tuomi could well be in the mix, though, because all 3 very strong riders. The Anunnakis have been riding strongly, but I don't know whether Largo, Flores, and Rodriguez have got enough to break the grip of some of the bigger teams up on the front of the race. We're in with Juan Quiros at the moment, so Quiros just keeping that nice and smooth at the moment. 79 revs per minute. You can just see focused on his screen at that front there as he continues to tap the pedals around. At the very front, though, 1.3k in, already starting to see more moves go off the front. Very aggressive on this flat section of road. And one of our good sprinters, actually, interesting to see there, just looking to make a little bit of a push up the road there. But what's the response going to be? At the moment, it's Hertz and Pino. Both are great sprinters, have gone early. I would have expected them to be, well, pretty happy to let it wait and let this go a little bit later, because they've got a big kick on both those riders. They're both phenomenal sprinters. Hertz and Pino, no reason why they can't be up there. James Harvey leading them up as well. Maybe just not wanting Harvey to take away the all the points on the way through. But I wouldn't put it past either of those 2 riders to be in the mix when it comes to every sprint. Hertz riding for the Cycling District squad. Pino, Francis Pino, that is riding strongly as well, just riding as an individual. So definitely a rider who we know could, whilst he's got a kick, not wanting this to let anybody go clear. We're just watching this group. You can just see 1s and 2s wanting to come up to the front. Maybe just keep this pace a little bit higher. Some people do like sprinting from that higher pace rather than kicking from 0 and having that big strength drive that required to get you rolling to really push on. Interesting to see James Harvey up there, rider who's already got a win in category 4. He took the qualifier race number 3 when we were on the Alula Adventure Loop race route. Top 5 last week as well in qualifier race number 4. So clearly on form, Harvey, and looking to make it hard from the go. So into the right-hand turn we go. Remember, 300 metres down, 250 metres to that green archway in front. It's the first of our checkpoint. It's the first of 3 sprint checkpoints. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 point for our riders at the moment. Abu Ali is the rider who's leading this out. Pino is coming to roll on to him. I think Hertz is coming as well. Well, we said they could both sprint. They're on to Abu Ali. Abu Ali's now into 3rd place as they come over the line. I think it was going to be Hertz going in over the line ahead there. Just wait for the results to come in to us. It is Hertz from Harvey, from Abu Ali, then Pino in 4th place. Those 4 riders with a little bit of gap between themselves to Wilson Gaviria. Gaviria himself, Villander, no slouch when it comes to the kick, so a fast run through there. Interestingly, though, those category 4 riders, they came through in a 4:13. They were 5 seconds slower than the category 5 riders to that same point. So we have categories 6 and 5 and category 4 away. It's time for category 3 to hit the roads of Colombia. 63 riders on our start list for category 3. The riders out and away from that race start. Another big bunch hitting the road with Van Veligen leading them down onto the road with Nick Scolari. Matthews Kalman in here. Looks like Kukiski Duma, as well as Tidholm Striel, That's it all in the mix. Lots of big teams, 11 teams racing, 4 teams of 5. The BMC Racing Up squad, the Gold Grabber squad, the Level Golden squad, along with Sandstorm, all with 5 riders, with 4 riders cycling at District 3, the Guardians of the Peloton, along with Take All, Take That, and Take This. They're also joined by What's Up and What's Up Next as our teams with 4 riders. So that's 7 teams with 4, 4 teams with 5, 11 teams in total. Also joined by a number of very strong riders as individuals, riders like Strill, Gonda, along with Aaron Methry, Badil. Not all riders who you've got to keep an eye on this, particularly riders like Badil, I think, on that climb. First up, though, is going to be the sprint, and at the moment, at what is approaching 1 kilometre. And this group of riders all together. And the riders through the checkpoint categories 4, 5, and 6 through checkpoint number 1, the 3 kilometre marker. And at the moment, looks like more riders looking for a long one. Interestingly, Fournier not in that mix. Definitely a rider to watch. Brignall, I think, just holding station. Patrick Carlston wisely, I think, sat in this bunch, not going too hard at the moment. And the Finnish rider in here with the national jersey in the background, along with the flag and the cap on the casquette, which I very, very much like. No, I don't think it's going to be his chase here, though. I don't think they're going to want to go too hard too soon. You've got to be smart here. Don't go in too early. Don't go too hard. Don't go too soon. Don't push on too much, but with 3 riders up the road and no signs of a chase behind, they could be giving away 5, 4, 3 points to each of those riders. I'm saying it's 3 riders because that's the number of bodies I can just about make out in the distance. They're heading towards the checkpoint, as you see, coming in the opposite direction. The category 6 bunch come back in the opposite direction, so Category 6 already around the coffee trails and heading into towards the big tunnels under the mountain, and then heading out on to our climb. Really rocketing around the race route today in Category 6. Now, 3 riders up the road in Category 3. Let's see if anybody wants to chase. Now we're starting to see a move coming behind. So we've got a little bit of a push because they're aware time is running out. We're 1,000 metres to go here. You don't want to go too early, but equally, you don't want to leave this too late. The 3 riders at the very front at the moment have got a gap here. This is Stemmen, Strill and Buchowski on the move here. They are going to be Buchowski, just at the front here with Strill and Stemmen. They won't want catching at the moment. They're 600 metres from the checkpoint. Now behind, Power coming, 7.5 watts per kilo. He's having to put in an early chase here. He's got a little bit of a gap back to Amaro, and then Mayer and Kowalski. David Kowalski's got a good kick on him as well. He's definitely one to watch. So is Ridley. That at the moment they're having to chase rather than necessarily sprint for points. At some point they've got to say, well, do you know what? We're not going to get this. At the moment, Radoslaw Buchowski, the rider who is going out at the front. So Buchowski, the rider leading, Stemmen in second, Strill in third, Power currently in 4th place. In no man's land between the leading trio and the main bunch behind. Garrido starting to push, but not enough. They're not going to get back the leaders as they go over the line. Well, the first leader in the green jersey is going to be Radoslaw Buchowski. He goes through ahead of Adam Stemmen. Stemmen's going to take away 4 points to Buchowski's 5 points behind them. Then the rest of the riders making the way through. Josh Power taking 3rd place, Strill taking 4th, and then a little bit of a gap back to the rest of the riders taking 5th place. I think it's going to be Inglesi, but to give you an indication, Inglesi's 65th position, most of Category 5 going faster, and much of Category 4 also going faster than the Category 3 race, with the exception of our 2 leaders. And that is Stemmen and Buchowski, who have that gap of about 8 seconds at the moment on Power. Power just ahead of Strill, the bunch on their way. Henry East, I think, leading that charge behind with Amaro and Duma as they make the way from checkpoint 1. So 6, 5, 4, and 3, all of those categories having gone through the first of our checkpoints at the 3 kilometre marker. A bit further up the road, as we see a counter-attack going Category 3. Category 5 have gone through the jungle sprint, the second of our checkpoint, with Joel Warren scoring maximum points from Natari, Laszlo. Those were your top 3 in Category 5. Category 6 have also gone through that point, with Tiger ahead of Fielder, DeManuan, Kozel and Gibson. And that was at the second checkpoint. At the moment, the third checkpoint, the Sandgill Sprint, nobody yet reached that marker. That is 15.8k into this race route. So at the moment, 2 of our categories have gone through the 10.4k checkpoint. The categories, 4 of them already through the first checkpoint. Counter-attack going here. And interestingly, Buchwecki, the rider who has gone off the front, solo rider is Radek. And the rider from Poland, clear on the front here, looking to make this hard and fast on this flatter section. Rafael Amaro, just on the chase here, just looking to close this gap down. And the question will be, has Amaro got team tactics in mind here to close this gap back down again? He's part of that take-all squad. Rafael Amaro, Nicolas Fournier, Nick Scolari and Alex Heaney. Really strong squad, the take-all squad. Taking it to take that, which is Howala, Oya, Meyer and Kansara. Now, Amaro on the bottom of your screen there, the Frenchman just below Niall Batty, the rider from Great Britain in the middle of the shot there. Then Henry East, the rider in New Zealand, but from South Africa on the top of our camera shot. As the riders in their pancakes in person on the left of your screen, the riders' avatars on the right-hand side of your screen. Amaro at the moment putting in some work here to hold Buchwecki, not letting him go too far here. And I don't think he wants to let this disappear up the road particularly, although it would take points. Not really going to need to worry, I think, about Buchwecki when we come onto that climb, but we'll have to see whether or not he's got the power to go up those climbs just as well, the Polish rider who's currently wearing that green skin suit of our sprint leader. So sprint number 1 done and dusted for category 6, 5, 4 and 3. The second of our sprints, the one at 10.4k. That's the next for the checkpoints that category 3 will reach. Category 4 still actually to reach that point on the way through. I have to agree with Craig Kennett on the chat. Don't forget you can get in touch with the chat live on YouTube. We go out on Twitch TV as well as live on TV, and very often out into things like Sports Arena within the UAE as well. The chat on the YouTube is the one that we try and monitor on the way through. So if you want to jump on board there, good to see Adam Stasinski in there. Just having a little look, Craig Kennett, having the sprints before the big climb, much more exciting. It spreads the prize money around a lot more too for the actual sprinters who have no chance after the big climbs. I would agree with that point, Craig, personally, but that's only my personal opinion. I like to see lots of different people taking away prize money because we've got a good prize fund across all of the categories every single week. Category 2, our next set of races to go. 10 teams in Category 2. We have 7 teams of 5. Abus Esports, the Watt Bombs, along with BMC Elite Racing, Gloria Victis, the Goat Squad, Level Elite, and the Hitmen are all squads with 5 riders. Squads with 4 riders, so 3 teams of 4. Cycling District 2 have 4 riders. The Polish Horses have 4 riders, and so do the Smarties. They also have 4 riders. We also have the UAE Falcons and the UAE Clan team here, both with 2 riders in the squad. So they won't be tied so much by team tactics. We know, though, they're full of strong riders. The Falcons with Ahmed El Tanaji and Zaid Hamdan. The UAE Clan team with SS and Mr. X100, the MyWhoosh champion in Category 2 for 2025. In the MyWhoosh Championship, the $1 million prize funded stage race that has just taken place in August, and lots of racing on MyWhoosh in August. Lots of shows going your way. Don't forget, you can catch up with all of the racing if you did miss out on any of the stages by going back through the back catalogue of racing on MyWhoosh. There's so many races on there now, so many hours of bike racing you can watch, which is great to see. So do jump on board. So the riders on their way through. At the moment, we are in with the living legend himself, Ivan Nuki. Nuki is a fantastic inspiration to so many riders. There's been some great shots from the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club, an inspirational place to go and visit. So if you're going out to the World Championships, go visit, go say hi to Ivan and all of the team there, because they do an amazing job of inspiring the youth of the future. And Ivan is one of those coaches. I've had the pleasure of meeting Ivan in person last year. Don't think I'm going to be able to meet him this year, sadly, but we met him last year, and I have to say it was one of the absolute highlights, if not the highlight of my trip to the UAE, was to see the work that's being done by people like Ivan on the ground to get people on bikes, riding out and racing. Men, women, boys, girls, everybody on bikes, on dedicated cycling facilities. It's a massive national project, and I'll tell you something, it's being delivered by some real superstars out there. So great to see Ivan there, smiling as ever. Probably why I'm not a coach, I don't smile enough. That's probably the reason. Now, speaking of coaches, Nathan Guerra on the move here. Nathan, a rider who has all of the knowledge. We're going to see if he can put that into play here today. Been riding stronger and stronger. Nathan Guerra, I think, are the fittest he's ever been. He's up against some very class acts, though, because he's gone with Maciej Skierski down the road here. As you see, Ollie Simmons, Marcin Trojanowski, and Rick van Aert watching Category 4 going the opposite direction. A number of riders just keeping their powder dry as we see Skierski go up the road with Guerra. No surprises in some ways to see that move from Guerra and Skierski. It's an opportunistic move, but I think it could pay off in Category 2. We saw it pay off in some of our previous categories, and it could pay off again. I think the riders are aware of the danger, but they don't want to chase too hard. Look at this, not a concerted chase behind one or two people taking up the chase. Machado and Van Erck at the moment. Now Downey's starting to think about it. Ibrahim starting to make a move. So is Alvarado and Downey. They're not at the moment. It's not convincing me, this. It's not the sort of convincing chase of 7-8 watts per kilo that Category 2 are capable of, but it's a big kick. Now, Ibrahim starts to push. This is what the sort of push that we're looking to see that will bring the riders back. You put somebody strong on the front who can put down 7 watts per kilo. You put 2 or 3. If the rest of the bunch goes with them, then they'll close the gap down. If they don't go, it's an even more dangerous group up the road. Espree Ibrahim on our screens. Good to see Espree, a rider who is riding strongly in that MyWhoosh Championship. Did some fantastic race performances. You can see at the moment he knows the danger of that group. He's going to try and get himself up there. He's got a great kick on him. He's put some great sprint wins in, taking the early stages in that MyWhoosh Championship. He wants to get on the wheels here. He wants to get into the big points at the moment. If he holds third place, he'll only get 3 points. It's better than none, but at the moment, he's got some work to do. He may catch Guerra. He's not going to catch Skierski. Maciej Skierski saving that 10 watts per kilo kick to come in and through. He's going to take the points, but what these 5 riders do next could be instrumental in how this race plays out. Now, Van Aert goes over the line there behind. Then it's going to be Ibrahim, followed by Hayland and Bennett. They've still got a gap, the riders in front. They really want to push it. Olivier Simmons with Bennett, if they keep pushing, they could close the gap down. If the leaders keep pushing, they could open the gap up. It's going to be decisive in Category 2, but we're going to have to come back to that fairly shortly, because you can just see Category 1. Our elite riders are waiting on the line here. The Category 1 riders are last riders to go in the last race of August. It's our monthly finals here on MyWhoosh, where we have our individual competition and we have the team competition in play as well. This is all about making sure you get to the top of the climb in a position that benefits you and your team. It's time for Category 1 to show us what they've got, just show us just why they are considered the elite riders. 34 riders on this start list here today for Category 1 in our August monthly final. They take to the Roads of Colombia to the 45 kilometers of distance, the 914 meters of climbing. That all comes at the end of this stage, really backloaded with climbs, front-loaded with sprints, a real mixture, something for everybody here today. Who is going to take away the individual prizes and the team prizes? Aber Synergy, the one of only 2 squads with 5 riders. Synergy with Paradians, Power, Skierski, Van Elst, and Wu. The Venga Boys, the other team of 5 with Kroll, Milostic, Pedersen, Panitza, and Mare. We then have 4 squads of 4 riders. Boss Moves Only, Jason Osborne, the world champion, Michael Knudsen, Michael Vink, and Saeed Safrazadi. The Farmworld squad have 4 riders, Bjorn Andreasen, Hayden Pucker, Johan Noren, and Josh Harris. We have the Green squad, which is Cardona, Nico, along with Betty and Miller. And then, of course, no riders in teams of 2, because that wouldn't be enough. But we do have 1 team of 3. The Alpha Jaw squad, Lionel Vajasin, Mikhail Kaminsky, and Ollie Jones. Jones, who has shown that he has got some serious sprint speed on him, as well as being a great rider. The question will be, who's going to take that out? Are they going to go early? Are we going to see team tactics at work? Bjorn Andreasen making a bit of a move near the front here, but Carlos Ramirez has gone over the top off the front here. So Ramirez running for the Greens squad, along with Nico, Betty, and Miller. I think that they are very aware that they're going to need to go early to go get those points. The Union of Speed squad have got Ruben Dont behind, and Dont looks to be chasing. So is Remy Confession. They head out onto the Coffee Trail as Category 3 come charging the opposite direction there. Felt the drafters came in the opposite way. I don't think that's programmed into MyWhoosh that the opposing bunch, a bit like if you get a vehicle coming in the opposite direction on the road, it blows you and it slows you down. But that would be mean. That would be harsh. I hope that's not the case. Now, Ramirez on the front, the chase behind Confession, along with Puckett on the way up here. Just interesting to see who puts the chase in here. Puckett's not letting this go for the Boss Moves Only squad. Don also working here for the Union of Speed squad. Kaminsky's in here from the Alpha Jaw squad as well in that chase. So may well be that team's choosing just to put 1 or 2 riders on the road rather than sit in the bunch. The reaction not coming. Pucker and Don at 4 seconds with Kaminsky, then 7 seconds back to Vajasin in the main bunch. He's not surely going to work because he won't want to pull back Kaminsky. Kaminsky's teammate at the moment, though, it is going to be Carlos Ramirez, who's on the front here. You can just see him aboard the bike, really putting the power down. He's round that left-hand turn. He's into this straight, which leads into the long sweeping right on the boardwalk on the bridge, into that sprint. Behind him, Pucker and Dont. If they made this across with Kaminsky, that would be a phenomenal breakaway group. This could well be a real moment where they choose not just to go for the sprint. Ramirez is winding it up for that sprint point. So is Dont. Dont's at 10 watts per kilo. Ramirez at 9.2. Ramirez is surely going to have done enough. Dont is coming quick, but he's not coming quick enough. Ramirez will take away 5 points. Dont is going to take away 4 points. It's then going to be the run behind. So Ramirez taking away top spot in that sprint in Category 1 from Ruben Dont in a 2nd position. Pucker in 3rd place. Kaminsky in 4th. It looks like Gednes taking 5th place. The time, though, almost identical for all of the riders from Dont downwards with the Category 2 and 3 pack. So most of the race fields going through. Only Carlos Ramirez really with a higher pace on his way through there. So interesting to see how that pace played out. Let's jump in with some of our riders, so a little bit further up the road, or should we say underground up the road, because this is the Category 3 pack here. We're in with Arthur Kobani along with David Badil and Niall Batty, 3 very talented younger riders. So great to have Arthur, David and Niall with us. hopefully they're going to be enjoying the racing. Remember, guys, it's meant to be fun as well as get that satisfaction of taking the race win. Happy riders are fast riders. It's one of the key things we always try and tell people when we see them, because that's the one thing you want to do. You've got to be enjoying this. You've got to be out and racing. These three talented riders, very interesting riders. Batty, very accomplished climber. Kabani, a real all-rounder. So is Badil. We're going to see who's going to go off the front, because one of them is bound to. This is young, irrepressible youngsters. Have they got their timing right when they go up onto the climb? Very interestingly, three very different continents represented here as well. Badil from the Republic of South Africa in Africa. We've got Kabani from Brazil, from the South American continent, and Batty from Great Britain, which is part of Europe, of course, in terms of continent, if not in terms of monetary and judiciary, even, if I can say the word. Shows you how much I'm trying to stay out of that conversation as these three riders come through. Three very different places that they're from. Three very different sets of cultures, but I tell you something, all united by riding on MyWhoosh. That's one of the great things in bringing these three together. You never know, one day you may be watching these same three riders racing in a professional team on the road. They might be racing for the same mountain bike squad off-road, or they may be dedicated to the same team on cycling esports. You never ever know what will happen in the future. Three talented riders. They've yet to make their way to the climb, which is where Category 6 have hit. They've gone out the other side of the tunnels. They're now up on to the climb. There's leaders on the road. That initial close bunch all together have been separated out. And I think one rider just clear on the front ahead of this group that Jeff Rooney is in. Jeff there in the jersey, in that MyWhoosh jersey with the silver foot in the background. You can see working hard here, making sure he stays in with that group. I tell you something, we do need to get Jeff. This is by his own admission. We need to get Jeff something to harness the power of his upper body as well as the lower body there, because his movement there, there's so much power in him. He can't keep it still, and that means he's having to rock about. So he's got to. We want to harness that, Jeff. Get it through those pedals, mate. Okay. On the way up the climb is going to be McMurtry leading this out behind Hanley, along with Vaz, Cridland and Silver, working the way up the climb. We're going to drop back, though, into Category 2 because it looks like this race has already exploded apart, and we have got a breakaway has gone off the front. The move that had been made by Skierski and Guerra has pulled clear Downey, Van Urk and Machado, with Bennett in attendance as well. The group behind are at 11 seconds, and Michel Machado here, you can see him on your screens here from Portugal for that cycling district squad right up in the front here. Skierski is in this group as well. Bennett cannot be discounted. Guerra is in here. This is a very handy group. Now, this is where every single one of these riders surely now wants to work for the front. It could be team orders would mean that they were trying not to work because there would be riders behind, but each of these teams is getting a gap. If you're in this, you're getting a head start, you're getting a gap. You really do need to push on here. Really get a push off the front. And if they can keep this rolling, they're going to keep this away. They are going to go through the sprint. It's coming up at 10.4 kilometers ahead of the group, and all of the points will be mopped up by the leading group on the way through. It's Skierski who's leading out the sprint, left-hand side of your screen. Van Urk and Downey are behind. They're not going to pull back Skierski. Maciek Skierski are clearly going to make this his own. This is going to be a key. He goes in through behind. Then Van Urk and Downey, followed by Machado and Morel, just making their way in through the jungle sprint. So Skierski taking 5 points, Van Urk taking 4, Downey taking 3, Machado taking 2, and Morel taking 1. Halen, Bennett and Guerra rounding out those 8 riders who have the lead at the moment. The gap back to the chasers behind, relatively substantial. 6th group of 8, it's actually 1 and 7, but I think they're all going to come back together at that very front group. Meanwhile, Hayden Pucker and Mikkel Kaminski have gone for a long one. Just taking a look at Mikkel Kaminski here. He's looking pretty cool, calm and collected in here with Pucker riding for the Boss Moves Only squad, Kaminski for the Alpha Jaw squad. And I think this is a good move by these two teams by the Farm Watt squad and the Alpha Jaw squad, sending riders up the road here, because this means not only do they have a bit of a time advantage if they can hold this further into the course, but of course it does mean that there are people at the road for their teammates to get up to them. Ollie Jones of the Alpha Jaw squad could be a rider to go across. Michael Vink, though, I think has decided enough is enough. He's on the front of this group and everybody else will react. Once Vink goes, everybody will follow. Now, this is the problem for the breakaway of two. If Vink wants to come back across and he makes his move, everybody will chase. Nobody will want to let the gap go, and that's what we're seeing here. Everybody has come up. The threat of Vink is too great for the breakaway, and that means that they're going to get pulled back on this descent down here. At 8.1k, we are still over 2k from the sprint, and I think Puckett and Kaminsky realise that they are doomed. So Kaminsky and Pucker pull back into the break, into the gap behind. Looks like at least one rider just struggling a little bit with the pace as we see a counter-attack go. And is that going to be Andreasen, teammate of Pucker, going up the road here? So this is the kick out of the front of the bunch. Johan Noren it is who's gone. So Noren has gone on the attack this time. The teammate of Andreasen, it was a Farm Watt squad rider, Johan Noren, great mountain biker and great road rider, Swedish rider, the rider who we're, I'm sure, going to be seeing at those in-person, well, we'll see him at the semi-finals, that is for sure, because he is a rider who I'm sure will get a pick from Sweden. Whether he'll make it into the top 20 and be at the finals, well, that's a bigger ask, but you never, ever know. It depends on how it's ridden in those semi-finals. We've seen stranger things happen. This group all back together again. Nobody letting that gap go. One rider detached from the main group of riders as they set off on to the race route. Now another kick goes. It is Bjorn Andreasen this time, who goes up at 7.9 watts per kilo. He's going to go on to this rise of the bridge here. He's got the lead. Andreasen now being answered by Dont, and they're going to come up over the top. So this time around, Bjorn Andreasen going for the Farm Watts squad. Dont responding for the Union of Speed squad here to try and pull them back together again. Andreasen with the gap here, 9.6k covered. The next checkpoint is at 10.4, so it's not that far away. Andreasen could be soloing to a 5-point win here if there's no response behind. And I think because it is one rider, not 3 or 4, they're just sitting and waiting and watching it. And it may well be because the gap is only 3 seconds, they're going to rely on the sprint for the points at the checkpoint to bring them back onto the wheels of Andreasen. Well, world champion Jason Osborne goes to the front of affairs. He takes a quick look up the road, wants to make sure that he's not going to be distanced as the pace starts to pick up coming into this checkpoint. Andreasen, though, has got the gap, and it's going to be difficult to pull him back. Now the wind-up goes on the front. Now goes the kick in front, but they're not going to get Andreasen. Andreasen is going to go through. He takes away top spot. Don is going to take second place through. Then it's going to be Mel. So I think Andreasen from Dont as they hit the line. Then it'll be Vidar Mayer followed by Michael Vick and Ollie Jones. They score 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 points respectively. Then it's Malur, Wu, Power and Co as they make their way in and through. Meanwhile, you can see all of our segment winners. So they all take away prizes from our Category 1 riders, gaining $70 at each of our segment checkpoints. So each checkpoint, the riders taking $70 in Category 1, right the way through to Category 6, where it is $15 per checkpoint. So Andreasen up the road. Now we see the world champion starting to make a move. He knows the danger of letting former world champion Bjorn Andreasen go down the road. And looks like Jason Osborne of the Boss Moves Only squad just pushing on to the front here. I think there'll be an instant response from everybody else once that's the case. Meanwhile, in Category 2, well, This is kind of the situation that Andreasen wishes he'd been in off the front with this group of riders not chasing hard behind. 36 seconds is the gap between our leading breakaway and the main bunch here today. So anybody who's a climber at the 14.3k checkpoint, point on the course, is going to be thinking about what's going on in front in terms of the overall. They're not going to be thinking about this in terms of what is happening with the rest of the group. So we're just going to be taking a look and seeing who has got the gap, and still Bennett, Downey, Morel, Van Erck still up the road. These are the nearest chasers, and it's just a little bit of a push off the front here as we see Fawcett and Simmons, Bjarhead, Wozniak, all looking to respond. Mendakowicz will be kicking himself that he missed that breakaway that he would dearly have loved to be in that as well. So would SS. So that we're starting to see movement here. Simmons at the moment just keeping an eye, doesn't want to go the wrong side of another gap, another break that goes. That would be disastrous. Behind the leaders, though, you are starting to see that leading group just start to fracture a little here. It may well be it's Bennett who's just being distanced off this group, or is it Morel just taking a look at that group? It's Van Erck who's gone. Unusual. So Rick Van Erck there just being distanced off the front group, not staying with them as they come up this climb. He's an individual rider. He hasn't got team duties to worry about as they go underneath that point at the 15.8k checkpoint. Van Erck disappearing off the back there of that group. This the Sangil sprint. So Skierski taking that from Machado, from Downey, from Bennett. Then Morel, Halen, Guerra. Van Erck losing ground. He's lost 9 seconds in the space of a few hundred meters. That is not good news. He'll be quickly swallowed up by the group behind. So at the moment, 8 has become 7 as they went in through. So that leading group, Skierski, Machado, Downey, Bennett, Morel, and Hayland, along with Guerra, clear of Van Erck. Van Erck with a little bit of a gap. Mr. X100 leading the charge from the bunch behind with Jamie Cahill, Masit Mendakowicz. They didn't get any points, though, because of that gap in front to the leading group, and the leading group mopping up the points on the way in and through in Category 2. So breakaway in Category 1, left-hand side of your screen, Andreasen, Dont and Pedersen are the 3 riders at the front of Category 1. At the front of the road in totality, Vladimir Toro has got the gap, 24 seconds from Junior Silva. Now, we're at the 26.7k marker. Toro climbing absolutely fantastic. I'm sure there's something in the Toro name that means that you climb like an absolute dream, because of course the UAE Emirates team with Toro, a very good climber, has to be one for the future. Toro, no, they haven't taken a win here, Vladimir Toro, on the Sunday race. Took 2 second places, 4 further top 5 places as well, but never making top spots. So whilst he took 4th place in last week's qualifier, and regularly taking away sort of top 4s, top 5s. A 2nd place on the Jebel Hafit, his best result on the Sunday Race Club so far. And that certainly in terms of recent history, that was at the end of July in the finals on the Jebel Hafit. Today, we're on the Paso Alto, and Toro up in front by 26 seconds. Dangerous rider to let go. Need to answer him, and they need to answer him fast, because if they let him go over the top first into FRB, he maintains that onto the final climb. Yes, it's 13k long, but it's a great climb to get into a climbing rhythm and really tap out a smooth rhythm. 3 very different styles on your screens. You've got Nick Handley there, crouched low over the bike, very traditional road position almost there, tapping away a very good cadence. You've got Cridland on the top, alternating between being in the saddle and out of the saddle. And you've got Junior Silva, who is out of the saddle pretty much the entire time. The Brazilian rider very much stamping on those pedals. He's currently in 2nd position, trying to get that power down, trying to get clear of the group behind. He can see Toro. It's down to 17 seconds now. The gap between, but they They do need to keep on pulling, and Steele, Jose, Cridlin, Scretti, Montoya need to be going here with Silva because they need to get that gap back down again. They can't let Toro go too far. Toro will desperately want to hold that time gap as they go across onto the FRB, the flat rolling bumpy section between the top of the Medellin climb and the start of the Bogota climb. Well, critical moments here. Silva starting to go clear to try and join Toro at the lead of Category 6 on the left of your screen as Toro approaches the checkpoint. Meanwhile, Category 5, it is Ponzi who's got the gap. He's currently got 11 seconds to the chasing group behind it. It's a big chasing group of Roy, Holm, Cirillo, Svart, all in that mix. Melostic's in there, so's Holm. The big chasing bunch is still behind him. It's 11 seconds to a solo leader in Ponzi in Category 5, right-hand side of your screen. Toro in and through underneath the checkpoint, getting maximum points on the climb, and the polka dot skin suit as our leader of the climbs competition. Followed by Silva, the second rider over the top of the climb. That is the Medellin climb, the first of our checkpoints that are at the top of the climb segment. So Toro from Silva taking 5 and 4 points respectively. Then Cridland, Vaz and Handley 3, 2 and 1 points as well. Then comes the big chasing group behind. And in fact, we've now had 14 riders go over the top of the climb. So that big chasing group trying to chase down our 2 escapees. 14 riders total, 12 riders in the chasing group, 2 riders clear at the front, Silva and Toro, who are not yet together as I speak, as they go over the top. Now, Category 5, they're on the way up. They have an escapee up the front as well, and they can see them. They can see our lone rider. They've got to try and get this gap back down again before they get to the top. They'll want to use that power of the bunch of the group to pull back the escapee. Gacek, Home, Mountier, Kendall, Hagland, Loxley, Lenador in this mix here. Left-hand side of your screen, you can see we've got Svart, we've got Kendall, and we've got Hagland. Again, 3 different continents. Republic of South Africa rider Eben Schwartz on your screens at the bottom. Luke Kendall, dead centre for Australia. Then Swedish rider Nicholas Hagland on the top of the rider screens. The avatars working as hard as the riders here on this climb as the pace starts to pick up. Ponzi in the lead still. They're chasing hard. Home working hard here. Loxley's going. Luke Kendall is right in this mix. He's not giving away ground. Neither is Nicholas Hagland. Hagland wants to be in this. So does they all know that as it goes over the top, the speed will pick up even more. They want the points in that mountains competition because we've still got the Bogota climb to come. That 13.5k climb. That is a part 2. Cirillo going after Ponzi. Ponzi's up in front. Cirillo surely can't catch him back in the time that is left available to him. That's not going to happen. Hagland's on the charge behind at the front of the bunch, but it's going to be Ponzi who goes over the top first. Diego Ponzi is going to get that skin suit. He goes ahead of Cirillo. Cirillo scores 4 points behind. It's 3 and 2 up for grabs. Whoa, did Hagland get that from Roy? Did Roy get that from Hagland? We wait for the update on our screens. It was Roy from Hagland. So 5 points to Diego Ponzi in 1 at the top of the climb. Clinton Cirillo in 2 with 4 points. Justin Roy in 3rd with 3 points. Nicholas Hagland taking 4th, gaining 2 points. And Matt Smithson from Australia taking away 5th place and 1 point. Snaffling that from Rod Loxley's countryman as they went over the top. Loxley riding for the Level Raiders. In fact, it was a bit of a train of Australian riders. It was Smithson, then Loxley, Kendall and Melostic as they came in through, all riding either for different teams or as individuals. So more national adhesion than there was team adhesion in that chase behind as everybody scrambled for the wheels over the top in Category 5. So on your screens, Category 4 on their way up this climb on that same section, these sweeping bends. However, they're not together either because Ungara has gone on the attack. So Neil Ungara at the moment is the rider who's gone clear. Category 4 rider Ungara, a finisher of the 2025 MyWhoosh Championships. Did a great job in Category 4. Highest position in that was actually on the last stage, and that was on the Coffee Trail here in Colombia. It was a flat stage to finish, though. We just went around the Coffee Trail for 3 or if not 4 loops in the race, the last stage of the day. It was a long stage, but fast and flat. He got 11th place there. But at the moment, Neil Unger on the climb. He had a good finals back in June and took a 9th place. Then got top 10, Neil Unger, in what was his second MyWhoosh Sunday race club, consistently been in Category 4 all the way through. Recently raced the MyWhoosh Public Qualifier number 4. That was on the Wednesday on the way through, doing a great job in the week of being inside the top 20 and scoring points on his way through. So a good result from him. But at the moment, one man who's no stranger to climbing, Jussi Palaka, definitely a strong rider when it goes uphill. Palaka taking away the win in the MyWhoosh Championships for 2025 in Category 4. He took away that top spot. 20 Sunday race clubs, 3 second places and a 3rd place. I'm sure he'd dearly love to take the win today. He's a rider who we know climbs well. He took the win on the climb of Mount Fuji in Japan on that Noboru stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championship. A clear indication that he can climb. He took a 3rd on the stage in Zurich in Switzerland. That was again another of our big climbing days, so could be one to watch, but I suspect being careful to not put in too much too soon, as Ungara has gone early, been chased here by Restrepo. So this is 4 points in the KOM competition. It's going to be Ungara who pulls on the polka dot skin suit first of those points. Only 2 checkpoints today in that climbs competition, and prizes, of course, for each of the segments and for the KOM. In Category 4, each segment worth $30. The overall, if you are the KOM or the sprint winner, another $55 on top. So that'll get you a little bit of bling for the bike, maybe some new handlebar tape, a couple of bead-ons, a nice carbon fiber bottle cage, you never know, for the bike, for the Smart Turbo, Smart Bike, if you're on one of those when you're racing. And don't forget, of course, all of the prize money, the rules set, and the guidelines all on mywhoosh.com. Go to events. And if you want the full guidelines and the rule set, it's worth, first of all, checking out the main Sunday Race Club page. That main Sunday Race Club page is available a little bit further down the page from each of our qualifiers, where you join each of the races or the finals, where you join the men's or the women's race specifically for that week. So just scroll a little bit further down the page and you'll find the Sunday Race Club main page with all the rules, guide sets, all links to all the key things, what you need to do for verification, the minimum equipment specification, because of course this is subject to strict verification across all of our riders, because MyWhoosh investing in cycling esports and in the riders, creating a sustainable environment by making sure not only are we racing each and every week on the Sunday Race Club, we don't get cancelled for birthdays, for Christmas, for snow, for rain, for hail, no matter what happens, power cuts, we keep on rolling on the Sunday Race Club. Nothing so far, touch wood, is going to stop the race rolling. However, it also means that we're invested in terms of money and prizes to make it sustainable and incentivize riders to put their best race legs on each and every Sunday and race, whether it's qualifiers or whether it's in those finals. The same is true, of course, of the MyWhoosh Championship, the unique 7-stage, 8-day stage race. Not even that actually stopped the Sunday race. We were racing on the Sunday on the rest day for the championships. Then, of course, MyWhoosh, the partner for the UCI for 2024, 2025, and 2026 on the MyWhoosh platform, the World Championships, as well as the semi-finals, the qualifying races, the public qualifiers, all on MyWhoosh. Now, as we proceed up this climb, top of the climb coming in at 27.4k. The riders knowing that they're getting that little bit closer. Camille Davis, Nicole Kansara, and now Barry just with a little bit of a gap up the road here. Howeiler working hard to close the gap down, but they have got to get this gap back because this is dangerous. Letting riders go at this stage. They'll be mopping up points. Whether they can go for the win, I suspect the gap not going to be big enough. Squilari in this main group, so is Howeiler, so is Kalmans in all three of these riders in this big chase group at the moment. And I think all three of these riders have their eyes on that big prize for the end of the stage. Take away the win in category 3 on the stage today, $780 up for grabs. In fact, running all the way down to 10th, you're in triple figures if you're in the top 8. $120 for 8th place. So $50 for 10th. You all want to be in those top 10. Everybody in that group will want to be there. At the moment, though, Camille Davies is going to be the rider who takes away maximum points and takes away the segment ahead of Niall Batty. Batty is going to take 2nd place in the climbs competition so far, with Davies with the polka dot skin suit. Batty in 2nd place at the moment. So just looking across at Davies, the rider in that polka dot skin suit, coming into this right-hand turn. Continuing to push on here at 5 watts per kilo, looking to drive that momentum on into this slight descent here, and then take a little bit of a pause. You can just see the Watts still pushing on. He's going to use this great way to gain momentum, go over the top and continue to kick. If you've got the strength and the energy to do so, really, really is key. So the breakaway in category 2 on our screens at the moment when we were last with them. This was 7 riders. They had shed at least one of the riders out of the back of the group, with Van Urk losing contact as it came through the sprint. They're on the climb. They are on their way up towards that 27.4k, but they are at about midway up the climb at the moment. The climb is starting at 21.9 kilometers, 27.4 the checkpoint, a little bit more of a rise until you go over the top over the bridge and into the Medellin city itself. A huge group here as they're coming up here, as they went through that San Gil sprint in category 2. Our leading group of riders going through there of 7 riders. Van Urk still had a gap back, and then it was Mr. X100 leading the charge in 9th position. The first big gap after that, well, that came in. It's a long way down to scroll, incredibly. There isn't a big gap until you get right down the bottom. The first big gap comes at 59th place. Only one rider distance from the main group in category 2. So category 2, basically everybody chasing the leaders still, apart from one rider on the way up the slopes. Meanwhile, category 1, Jason Osborne along with Young Fai Wu and Michael Vink on the move at the front of the group. No surprises there. Osborne, Wu, and Vink on the climb, looking to break clear of the main bunch. And this is going to be Groundhog Day for the riders behind, really, because this had become what was the norm on the championships and very often the norm on the Sunday Race Club at the moment, with 3 very strong climbers able to put the gap in on the climb, and then the rest of the group having to work and close the gap down. It's not going to be so much the case that it's unclosable, I think, unless they get a huge gap here on the climb. They're at 24.2 kilometers covered. To get to the top of the climb, they've got to get to 27.4k, but then we have that run across to the start of the main climb. But the main climb average gradient is only 3.6%. And it does mean that if you're on to the main climb, you've got a chance of pulling the riders back. Now, category 1, chasing category 2 on the road. All the riders are slowly coming back together in terms of leading the groups, with our fastest category, category 1, the last of the riders out from the pens. At the moment, Simon Walter on the climb in the main bunch here. The main bunch has distance ones and twos off the back, so there are a number of riders distance more than we've seen in category two previously to this. So as they came into the climb, that was a huge group chasing. It has basically now diminished somewhat, because the climb just separated another 3 or 4 riders. So in total, maybe 5 riders gone off the back of the main group, chasing our leaders. Leaders still up the road. So here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, we're in with Mark Santo. Santo in the main group, the leaders 12 seconds up the road. It's not that long ago they had a bigger gap, but the climbing prowess of the chasers are very much to the fore. I think Mr. X100 on the move once again, looking to close the gap down at the front of the main group. Santo having to respond to the pressure that's being put on. Looks like Gray's moving up, so is SS as well. They're going to be making the way up. Nobody will want that gap to go right the way out. They don't dare let it go too long. Meanwhile, front of the lead group, Mitchell Machado is doing what he did on the MyWhoosh Championships, and we've seen him do on the Sunday Race Club, opening up a gap on the leading group. He's broken clear the 26.2 kilometer marker. He has got 1.2k to go to the summit. Machado now breaking clear, using the slopes to open a gap. So we now do not have a leading group. We have a solo leading rider, 7 seconds clear of a chasing group of 6. One rider then separated from the group of 6 with a massive bunch behind, but you can see the bunch is on its way. Machado was aware of that. He knew the gap had gone down to about 16, 17 seconds, and you can see now this big bunch being led by SS on the climb. Peterman Lostic also on the charge here. So is Alan Young, Downs, Koisonen, Jasinski, and Miller in here. Halen is in this as well. They know that they want to get the gap down. They won't want to let them go over the top, and then they'll want to press reset going into the next climb. The leaders have got that gap, and at the moment Machado with the gap out the front, he'll be hoping that when they catch back the main group, they don't realise one rider has gone at the top. I think they needed more riders in between, though, more category 4 and 5 riders to confuse the fact. I think the main group will be aware that there is still Machado off the front of the group here, as the leaders, the long-time leaders, except one, are going to be caught back here by the main bunch. They're going to come together. You can see the junctions about to be made here, and riders like Todd Allen Young now know that they've pulled back basically all but one of the riders in front, and that now is going to leave it wider open on the front of this race. That one rider up at the front, well, that is currently Michel Machado, the Portuguese rider on the attack at the front of this race, riding for the Cycling District 2 squad. So Cycling District 2 rider on the way up. Just keeping a check on him in Category 2. Meanwhile, Category 1, we saw earlier on that Osborne, Vink, and Wu were the 3 riders who had attacked. They've gone clear by a few seconds. That gap has been reinforced. Vink and Osborne both riding up for the Boss Moves Only squad on the front here with Wu. Wu are working well with them at the moment. Wu running for the Aber Synergy squad, so he will be getting some time for the Synergy squad, but potentially at the moment they're giving ground to Boss Moves Only, because the 2 Boss Moves Only leaders on the road, Osborne and Vink, with Wu in attendance, have got 11 seconds on Jones. Ollie Jones riding for the Alpha Jaw squad, their leading rider at the moment. As we take a look up the road, the main bunch have come together. Mr. X100 has gone clear of the main bunch, chasing Mitchell Machado, and Machado has got the gap. Machado, you can see at the top of your screen here, now onto main screen, coming up to the polka dot archway that signifies the top of climb checkpoint. It's the top of the climb, it's a checkpoint, it's where the clock stops. It's where we get to see who is going to go through. Machado goes through 43 minutes of racing, 45 seconds complete as they went underneath the line behind. It's going to be Mr. X100, followed by Bert Kane, Ivan Nuki, and Olivier Simmons, I think, as they hit the line there. Machado, missed X100, Peter Molostic, Cooper and Downs, then Darcy going in through, just letting it do its updating on the way through though, because I think that's going to change. It has. So here we go. Updates from the timing screens. Michel Machado going through, leading through. He went through his gap on the line, 14 seconds. He takes 5 points from Mr. X100, 14 seconds down. Second place at the top of that climb, he takes 4. But Kayan right on the heels, 3 seconds back from Mr. X100. He takes 3 points in third. Ivan Nuki on the heels of Kayan taking 2 points. And then Simmons taking 1 point. He was about 0.9 of a second down on Nuki. So Machado, X100, Kayan, Nuki and Simmons, the top 5 in Category 2. The Category 2 bunch going through. Still, are you ready for this? 42 riders strong in Category 2. Lots of racing to be done in Category 2. Now, as they make their way up the climb, Mitchell Machado has got the gap here, but this is the big bunch here. They need to get themselves back together again. They need to make sure that nobody goes. They're going to hit the slopes of the Bogota climb. And that is where we're going to see it be decided, I think, today. Certainly in Category 2. Although we do have lone leaders in some of our other categories. Meanwhile, the sprint is on for the polka dot archway. Vic not giving this over to Osborne too easily here. Now, Vic's going to go straight over the top, surely. He just came at 7.5 watts per kilo. He's continuing at 7 or so. Osborne and Wu have been passed by Vic. Is Vic going to try and solo off as they come up onto the script? Will he let them come back together again? We'll keep an eye on that as they move onwards. Vic goes in over the top of the climb here in 40.44. So here's a time over the top, but 40.43 is Jason Osborne, who actually shown on my screen is credited with the fastest time. So you can see the Machado there in Category 2, Danny's in Category 3, Unger in Category 4, and so on. All the results up on the MyWhoosh website, mywhoosh.com/results. And don't forget, have an explore of the webpage. Loads of ways to have a look. And there we go. Just taking another refresh. It's still showing Vic, interestingly, at the top of those climb winners. I'm going to give mine a refresh as well, because you never know. My timing screen is saying something different to the main timing screen. If we keep doing this long enough, they'll actually agree one way or another. We will see. So at the top of the climb, I made it to Osborne going in over the line. That's what I certainly saw. There will be a little bit of a check back. Well, part of the system here at MyWhoosh checks back the results. So it's not just checking the riders and verifying the riders. It's got its own double checks and triple checks inside the system to make sure that what it comes up as the result is. You can imagine how complicated it is behind the scenes, making sure all these results actually tie up with what the riders are putting in and the inputs. And there's a lot of checking and double checking and triple checking on the way through. So even if the part 1 doesn't quite get the right, part 2 and 3 will then correct it. So those checks and double checks are done. That's all part of the process that happens at the end of verification as well. So when the race is finished, it's not just that verification of the riders that's done. There's also a check of the system to make sure that all the results are computing correctly. Now, one rider who we know can climb and who we know will be in those results, Mac Lenador on the right-hand side of the 2 riders on your screen. Manuelito Lenador on the left-hand side of your screen. Both riders are on the turbo trainer at the moment, both working hard. And Mac at the moment about to regain this chase group in Category 5. They have a lone escapee off the front of the group, though, and that is dangerous at this stage in the racing. 37k in, and if that rider's a good climber, and you can assume that they are, you know that that is one way that they're going to get some ground. Even Ponzi at the moment not responding straight away to the move up the road. It's a 5-second gap to the lone leader ahead of Ponzi. And at the moment, it is Jeremy Horn who has the gap. Will he be able to hold that gap to the finish? We'll have to wait and find out. Just diving back in with Category 3 at the moment, in with Ivo Sure. So going to see if he is going to be in contention when we come into the finish in that leading group of Category 3. So making his way up here at the moment. So looking good at the minute in that chasing group. So Category 2. Just taking a look at them, currently sitting at 31k. Category 1 at 30k. Category 5, much further up the road, you can see that they're at 37.5 kilometres. They're ahead of the Category 3 riders on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Category 6 are the furthest riders up the hillside so far, but quickly being closed down by Categories 5, 4, 3, 2, and Category 1. Category 2 on the left-hand side of your screen, Category 1 on the right-hand side of your screen. You can see that the Category 1 leaders just picking up riders. Jakob Bjorklund just trying to get on board the express train at the moment. It's Yongfei Wu who's squeezing on at the front of this group. Vink is responding. Then you see the response come from Osborne. So our three individual leaders at the moment, they have a 17-second gap back from Vink, Wu and Osborne to Bjorklund and Co. So to Jones and Co behind in Category 1. In Category 2, Mr. X100, Olivier Simmons, Mitchell Machado, along with Corrales in the main bunch of riders in Category 2. They are now at the 31.6k marker. They're onto the main climb. You can just see Category 1 leaders have hit that same climb with Osborne, Vink, and Wu hitting the slopes, and that gap at the moment 20 seconds back to Hayden Pucker, the nearest rider at this stage in Category 1, right-hand side of your screen. So we're going to move up the road. In fact, we're moving as far up the road as we can, or almost, because we are in with our two leaders here. Junior Silva has got a 43-second gap back to the chasing group behind, with Montoya, Diaz, Cridland, Vaz, and Co. all working hard to try and close this down. Gosler's in there as well. They're all looking to pull it back. Rademacher in the chase, but that 47-second gap should be sufficient if Silva and Toro can continue to climb as they are. At the moment, we're in with Junior Silva. So in person, left-hand side of your screen, and then the avatar on the right-hand side there. So Junior Silva doing what he did in the MyWhoosh Championships, absolutely nailing it on the climb, out of the saddle, getting the power down. Once again, he's chasing after Toro. Toro is ahead in the polka dot skin, so you can just about make out a tiny flitting figure between the shadows in white up the road around the left-hand turn. At the moment, that is Toro. It's 15 seconds the difference between Silva and Toro. That is in Category 6 on the right-hand side of the screen. Category 5, Jeremy Horn, a rider who's got very few Sunday race clubs. I think this is his second Sunday race club. His first one was last week in qualifier race at number 4. So Horn at the moment leading Category 5 from Loxley and Co, who are chasing hard behind. Category 2, at the moment, Mr. X100, along with Jan Kaplinski, battling it out on the slopes of the Paso Alto on the Bogota climb. And in Category 1, it is the leaders at the moment, your three, including the world champion Jason Osborne, who have the gap. So here we go, Category 2. Front of the race, Mr. X100 showed that he got his pacing, his time in right on the MyWhoosh Championships, just ahead of Olivier Simmons. Mr. X100 loves a long climb. He loves it when it's consistently tough all the way up. It's not too steep, though, and he's showing that here today. He can sit at just the right power. He's just seen Olivier Simmons come up on his heels here. Now Simmons takes the race lead out of the saddle on the left-hand side there of your screen. You can see Simmons kicking down hard there. He's got Mr. X100 on his heels, but Mitchell Machado is not going to let this move go. Machado at nearly 6 watts per kilo. He comes alongside Alex Arsenio, the Category 5 rider. Sid Mitchell Machado on his way up here. Machado climbed clear on the climb of the Medellin climb. He accelerated. He took away the points on that climb. He'll be looking to take away the points at the top of this climb, but also to reinforce and use that as a real foundation for what potentially could be a race win. So out of the saddle, Machado on the left-hand side of your screen continues to kick on down here, really working hard. You can see that the two in front have got that gap. Missed X100, Olivier Simmons, critical moment now. You can just see Miller and Al Raiki also moving up here. They don't want to let this go. Cooper Bennett also in attendance. Nobody wants to let this move go. I think this is going to be a really critical moment here in Category 2, because at the moment, Missed X100 and Olivier Simmons are just starting to break through. They're both incredibly dangerous riders. You can't afford to let them go because they will time trial the way up to the top, where it will then come down to a sprint. Stuart Miller is responding here, again leading the charge here. The Irishman ahead of Brandon Downs from the Republic of South Africa. Then it's going to be Maciej Mendakowicz who takes up the charge behind. Again, another strong and regular winner on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, wanting to bring this group up, but this is not separating out. We could almost see a bunch sprint from Category 2 at the top of this climb, unless somebody can make this stick. If they can, will it be Mr. X100 and Olivier Simmons that are on the front at the moment? I certainly wouldn't want to gamble on a bunch sprint at the top of this climb, but that is what everybody is doing at the moment, because they've not pulled down to close the gap. They've not pulled the gap down. They've not pulled the group down. It's not coming back at the moment. If anything, it's opening back up again. 3.5% gradient, 3.4, 3.6. This is continuing to be tough stuff here today. So, I mean, Dakowitz trying to just stay in contention in that group. It is shedding riders. Don't be fooled by the fact that it's still a big group, that it's not going quick. It is. Behind riders are coming out the back of that group by one after the other, and when they're distanced, they are gone. Game over, get out the back. You're not going to be right at the front, but they've got to keep riding because, of course, that team competition is in play, because it is our monthly final, and the top three riders need to get over the line as fast as they can in Category 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and in Category 1. And in Category 1, we are starting to see a push from Fink on the front in Category 1 again. I think he's looking to shed Wu at the moment. Wu having to work hard. Fink, look at this. Fink out of the saddle here. 600 watts on the left-hand side of your screen from Fink as he pushes down here. Osborne is holding the wheel. Can Wu hold the wheel? Wu's at 9 watts per kilo here. Here he comes. The rider with the yellow jersey with the dark hair there comes alongside the polka dot skin suit of Jason Osborne, and then the yellow jersey and yellow cap of Michael Fink on the front of this group. These three riders still haven't broken apart. Vink wound that up, and there's another opportunity to really push on, because they're coming up on to this big group. They're going to come rocketing past Salminen of Category 6. They can see in front that big group of Category 5, and I think that's the main category, Category 2, the main Category 2 chasers. So Category 1, yellow jerseys, left-hand side, coming up on the green jerseys of Category 2. The main group of chasers are going to see the leaders in Category 1 come sweeping past, I think, here. Meanwhile, at the very front of Category 2, Mr. X100 and Olivier Simmons have got a gap. It's not going to be enough, I think, to stay clear, or is it? As we see Daniel Hoyos at the moment in our screens. Just holding the wheel here of Phil Graves. They're all holding the back of the group. But look at this. Here we go. Vink is on his way, the Vinkinator, with Osborne and Wu. Top three riders in the men's race overall in terms of speed and performance over the last month, and further on the climb, making the way through. The express train rips its way through that group. At the moment, I think Vink is going to come out with a slight gap over Osborne and Wu. Wu is going to have to push on to pull that gap back down again. Osborne won't want to let it go. Carl and Kayan getting a grandstand shot of the race as they go past. Everybody scrambling for wheels. And in that pass, Mr. X100 has been pulled back into the fold. So has Olivier Simmons. And it looks to me like that has all come back together again in Category 2. Everybody watching the leaders in Category 1 come in through. And again, another gap opening. Michael Vink on the front of Category 1 has opened about a 3-second gap on the chasers behind him. Category 2 are being invigorated by that. because Vink has gone clear. That's now at 4 seconds between Vink and Osborne, and then Woo holding the wheel of Osborne, but Osborne won't necessarily chase hard enough to pull Vink back. Is his teammate. They both ride for the Boss Moose only squad. Osborne v Vink. It's a regular battle. Osborne, we know, great on the climbs. Vink has got the speed, the leg power, and he showed in the championships that when it comes to an overall race, he has it absolutely dialed. He knows what his goals are. We saw that in the MyWhoosh Championship. He went out early to go take these sprint points early on. It meant that he had enough in the bank for later during that stage race. He then took the overall win. Meanwhile, Jason Osborne picked up the climb competition on the way through, but couldn't match Vink overall. Further up, the road categories 5 and category 6 are still separated on the road. Category 6 leader Vladimir Toro on the right-hand side of your screen at the 42.5 kilometre marker. Junior Silver currently in second place at 16 seconds. Then it's a minute back to Jeremy Horn, who's on the left-hand side of your screen. He's the leader of category 5. He's also got for company the chasers in category 6, including Jonathan Cridland. Cridland getting down and fuck you with it. He's got the cap on backwards. He's going for the proper retro look there. I'll tell you something, there's nothing retro about his speed. He's absolutely flying up here. Jonathan Cridland, a rider to watch at the top of this climb, and that's for sure, because he's got a good kick on him as well. These riders at the moment are working well, and they are taking, I think, some inspiration from Jeremy Horn. Horn, the category 5 rider, may well be helping them inadvertently come up on to Silver and Toro. Silver on the right-hand side of your screen, 16 seconds back on Toro, 47 seconds ahead of Cridland, along with Montoya, Gosler, Jose, the chasing group. It's on the left-hand side of your screen. Silver needs to make this all the way to the top. He's in second position at the moment. The gap is coming down second by second, but so is the distance to the race finish. Junior Silver, I tell you, this man, absolutely, if there was a combativity prize, if there was a prize for putting your absolute all in week after week, climb after climb, Junior Silver would be one of our front runners for it, because without fail, each and every time we see him giving it absolutely everything he's got on the way into the finish. Sometimes it works out and he gets that just reward. Sometimes it doesn't and he's closed down and passed. Never an easy thing to do. Break clear. Never an easy thing to do to stay in with our leading leaders, particularly when they can really climb like Toro can. Silver's doing a great job, though. In the second place in category 6 on the right-hand side of your screen. Left-hand side of your screen, we're in with Ivan Nuki. Nuki has got Cooper and Mr. X100 up in front. Then you can see it's Halen and Co. And this is the terrain that should suit Ivan Nuki. When it goes uphill, this man gets into gear. He's got that fantastic build that allows him a really great climber. He's got the determination to do this. His coach is a coach. He knows exactly the theory. He knows what he needs to do. He's just got to execute it now. He's got to do his legs, his body, what his mind and his mouth has been telling the kids to do and inspiring other people to do. He's going to get onto the wheel here. Mr. X100, he's done that. He's got Cooper. So this is your leading 3 on the road. They've got a gap back, and it's Arvin Goddardzi. Oh, my goodness. Now, that's a man who can climb behind. The Canadian rider is chasing, and Goddardzi is a phenomenal climber in his own right. That is a dangerous man to let get back to this group. The 3 leaders need to work together for a while here, I think, to extend the gap that they've got, because Goddardzi is on his way. He's a rider who we know climbs well. He climbed to victory, Goddardzi, in the category 2 on the top of Mount Fuji. He took the win there, and that is very, very telling in the category 2 race on the MyWhoosh Championship. So Goddardzi, a rider who's got some great climbing ability, trying to close down the leaders in category 2. Meanwhile, our last leaders to leave the Penwood Category 1. Michael Vick has got the gap to Osborne and to Woo, left-hand side of your screen. Toro has the gap back to Junior Silver on the right-hand side of your screen. It's currently 13 seconds to Silver, and it's 50 seconds to Horn, Amaya and Rademacher, etc. But the Category 6 riders are chasing and holding the wheel of Horn in pursuit of the leaders. This finish is very, very brutal indeed. You come round this right-hand turn and you go up on to the climb in through the city, and it doesn't level out for a long time. You can see the buildings and you start to feel you're getting into town, but you've got to pull all the way through town. It's less than a kilometre to go for Junior Silver. The gap behind him, it's still holding at 43 seconds to his nearest chaser behind. Toro has gone clear on the front. He's not going to pull Toro back for the win. He's going to take a second place surely here today. He can't afford for those legs to go pop, no matter how much cramp, how much agony, how much they're burning, how much his lungs feel like they're on fire. You've got to keep pulling. You've got to keep on going because you've got to stay clear of the chase group behind. Toro, well, he's going to take maximum points on climb 1 and maximum points on climb 2. He'll take away both segment prizes in category 6. He's going to take away the climber's jersey. He's on the right hand side of your screen. It looks like he's on for the stage win. Behind the Silver is coming, but he's not coming quick enough. He'll take second on the climb here as Junior Silver goes underneath the climb. Toro leading this out towards the line. 500 meters from the climb arch all the way to the finish of our finals here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club Category 6. Absolutely nailing this climb today. They stay clear of Category 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. They've been passed by nobody on the way up the climb. And at the moment, Toro and Silver with the gap back to the rest of the race field. You can see that it's over a minute. This is a phenomenal ride by Vladimir Toro. It's going to be a great ride by Silver behind him, but Vladimir Toro, he's got the time to appreciate the run to the line. Vladimir Toro, a rider who's ridden, this is his 20th Sunday Race Club. So far, he's had 2 second places. Today is the day he makes it a win on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. What a day to do it on! On the climb of the Paso Alto in August, on our monthly finals of the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, Vladimir Toro takes the win in Category 6 and claims the climb's jersey on the way through. And immediately behind him, here comes Junior Silver. He holds on for second place in Category 6. A great ride by him to come through. He's going to take away second place here today. You can see he's given absolutely everything on his run in to that line. Toro coming through for the BMC 6s, leading that team home. Silver making his way in second place. He goes over the line for the ZTBR Caracas squad. They are your first 2 riders in over our finish line here today in Colombia. A phenomenal ride as they came in over the top of the finish in the Category 6 race. A fantastic result, I have to say, on that run for the line. Our Category 5 leaders come in with the win going to Luke Kendall from Clinton Cirillo. This is the run in Category 4, and the Category 4 riders charging into the line as they come in through. Let's round up those places for you in Categories 5, 6, and in fact Category 4. So Category 6, the first riders on the line: Toro from Silver, from Steel, Cridland, and then they were the top 4 riders. So in Category 5, that was a win for Luke Kendall, second place for Clinton Cirillo, a third place for Riley Milostic. The top 3 in Category 4. Juan Restrepo coming ahead of Perdoncini, and then Gomez coming through for third place. In terms of teams, Cycling District 4 in Category 4 take the win. In Category 5, it's the Level Up team. And in Category 6, it's the ZTBR Caracas squad led by Silver, who we had on our screens. Okay, Let's drop across from there into Camille Davies at the moment, because Davies now sprinting up this climb here in the Category 3 race. He's going to lead the Category 3 riders into the line. He's ahead of the youngster Badil, who's got attention around him. He's got riders fighting for position, but Camille Davies from France is going to be the next of our riders in and over the line in Category 3. He hits the line here today. He's your winner in that Category 3 competition, in the climb competition. Can he make it a win overall? That is the question. He's got the gap surely to do that. Will it be enough today? He goes on to this right-hand turn. Will he be able to stay clear of the rest of the group? They are chasing hard behind him. Will they have enough in the tank? He's got company as a Category 5 rider just in front, sprinting for their race finish. All of these categories coming towards the line at once. Davies has got something extra in the tank here. Look at this, 6 watts per kilo. He's coming. Nick Scolari behind us got the gap down to 20 seconds. It's not going to be enough. Camille Davies, he's going to take the win overall, as well as taking that win we've just seen in the climb competition. A great day at the office for Davies from France. Camille Davies comes underneath the UCI banner here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, and the monthly final, he's going to take away the win for the What's Up squad. Behind him, Nick Scolari chasing all the way to the line. He's opened up a gap on the youngster David Badil. It's going to be Scolari who comes through in second place in Category 3. He's going to lead home the Take All squad. Can he stay clear of the rest? David Badil riding as an individual today, taking third place in Category 3. Carol Sladek of the Gold Grabbers taking fourth place, and Nicole Cansara of the Take That squad coming through for fifth. And in Category 3, the What's Up team of Camille Davies come through that win, being taken by the team of Davies, Cond and Guarin, with Stuart backing them up as well, already in and over the line. So they take away the team win in Category 3. Fast and frantic in the run to the line in Category 6, 5, 4 and 3. In terms of our leaders, if you're out there racing for your team, make sure you keep on running all the way to that line. You never know what's happening up in front on the road. In your team, you need to make sure you push all the way to that line. It's all great training. It's all going to make you faster and stronger in the long run. Make sure that you do the most you can for that team and get that improvement in. I'm going to take a little bit of a quick check here, because Mr. X100, right-hand side of your screen, leading the Category 2 race, has got company of Cooper at the moment here. They're on your big screen. Cooper holding the wheel of Michael Knudsen. Knudsen with Mr. X100 on this climb. Ivan Nuki is also in attendance here in Category 2. So Cooper and Cooper and 100 and Nuki in here from Category 2. They've got the gap here, I think, to the nearest riders. They have it's about 20 seconds or so. So Begston and Milostic, the nearest riders, they've got a gap. They've got to make this stick. There is some great company here. Saeed Safrazadi in the mix here, along with Michael Knudsen on the chase with Ollie Jones. They're all chasing the 3 leaders in Category 1. Michael Vink leading Jason Osborne in the battle with Wu. Last time we saw Michael Vink on the left-hand side of your screen at 43.7 kilometers covered. He's currently not that far from the top of the climb. In terms of the segment, the climb itself actually finishes even beyond the finish line of today's race. It's a great route to ride. Even if you're not out to go train or put in, grab yourself a new FTP, because it's a great climb to do that on as well. And a new FTP, it's a great climb to actually go ride up, even if it does go on for quite a long time. It's always interesting, lots of scenery, great scenery at the side. Now, Category 3 rider is Walter Clays, who's chasing Henry East himself. He sees Michael Vink come alongside him. Vink comes chasing past Walter Clays. Clays in the Belgium national jersey. His countryman, Mr. Cullen, taking double gold medals at the Paralympic World Championships not all that long ago. Just some great elation from him yesterday. It was great to see him take that. Some real fans down at the side of the road in Rons. Meanwhile, Henry East on the the climb also sees Michael Vink chasing into town. Vink now at the top of town. He's ahead of the Category 2 leaders at the moment. Category 2 leaders on the right-hand side of your screen, just briefly there, as we see Michael Vink coming into town. Vink leading in number 1 spot. He's got the polka dot skin suit potentially heading his way. He comes up. He's going to go underneath the banner here. He's going to take what is 5 points. For the score underneath. He goes underneath the banner. Will he hold it? It's all going to depend on where Osborne finishes. He's next sent up here. He should be the next runner that comes into sight. We're going to have to see if he's held off Woo. Vink now aiming for the finale, aiming for that finishing line, taking away the win today is his target, taking away the $2,170 for the win. He'll be looking for the Boss Moves Only squad to claim that $9,520 team prize as well. And at the moment, the Boss Moves Only squad rider Vink, backed up by Osborne. They are the 2 leading riders from that team, and they have with them not all that far behind Michael Nussen and Said Safrazadi in the chase group. So it's looking like it could be a good day for the team of the Boss Moves Only squad. They take victory individually with Michael Vink taking away the win here today. Vink has another win to his palmares. Jason Osborne takes away second. The run for the line behind, I think, is going to go to Woo, just ahead of Knudsen. The Knudsen on his way up here in 4th place. Woo is just ahead of him. So behind Knudsen, Jones and Safrazadi are not that far behind. Let's see who is going to make it, who can get themselves into position, who's going to hold on as they come on to the finish here. Vink goes through in 1. It was Osborne in 2, Woo in 3. Who's going to take 4th and 5th places here today? Knudsen is versus Jones at the moment. And Jones is behind. Jones out of the saddle. He's got a phenomenal sprint on him. He's now starting to wind him up. He comes on the right-hand side of Knudsen. Knudsen knows that he's being passed here by Jones. Jones with that big sprint that we saw him unleash in the MyWhoosh Championship, taking away the first stage and holding that yellow jersey. He comes through to take away 4th place. It's going to be a 5th place for Michael Knudsen. Meanwhile, Category 2, it's going to be a win for William Cooper here today. Cooper takes away top spot in Category 2. It's going to be the climber's jersey for Cooper as well, I think. Or is it? No, Cooper's going to take away the yellow. It's going to be a polka dot skin suit, I think, for Mr. X100 as he comes in across the line. The points being calculated as we speak. 1 today on the stage is Cooper. 2 is Mr. X100. It's going to be Ivan and Yuki in 3 in that Category 2 race as this race unfolds behind. It's Cooper in 1. Mr. X100 in 2, Ivan Yuki in 3, Peter Milostic in 4, Angus Benson in 5, Bert Kane in 6, then Morel in 7, Alan Young in 8, Khan Kane in 9, and Ross Fawcett in 10 in Category 2. The Category 2 team will go to the Hitmen from the Goats and Gloria Victis. Category 1. On your screen at the moment, the riders who are in and over the line, you can see that we have got Michael Vink leading out the table there with a win in 1 hour, 9 minutes and 51 seconds of riding. The close down in the later stages saw Osborne get that gap down to 7 seconds, taking 2nd place, and 17 seconds down on the race leader, 10 seconds behind Jason Osborne, Yonfei Wu of the Abus Synergy squad. Ollie Jones came through for 4th place with Michael Knudsen coming through for a 5th place here today. His teammate Say Safrazadi came through in 6th, and in fact the Boss Moves Only squad taking away the team win. Their team time 3 hours 30 minutes and 50.925 seconds. You can see behind Say Safrazadi, Hayden Pucker coming through to take away 7th place individually. They're the 7 riders in and over the line at the moment in Category 1, and you can see confirmed that William Cooper taking the win individually, Mr. X100 taking away the climbs competition, and then Ivan Yuki taking away 3rd place in that Category 2 race. All the results at the moment provisional, but they are up on mywhoosh.com/results. Make sure you get yourself on to the page, dive on board, make sure you go in. Easiest way, go to mywhoosh.com. make sure you download the app on iOS, on Android, or on PC, on Windows. So make sure you jump on board. Joe gets onto the main menu to get results, to get to events. Jump on board the Sunday Race Club. We are going to be back next week. It will be qualifying number 1 in September. Can't quite believe that we're heading into September already. September sees us with the announcement of who will be riding in the semi-finals of the UCI World Championship in cycling esports, and then after that we'll be heading in to October and those semi-finals, which comes up afterwards. We have our Sunday race clubs each and every Sunday. We'd love for you to join us, whether that is watching. If in doubt, subscribe to the MyWhoosh YouTube channel, or of course jumping on board and getting onto that start line. We'd love to be putting words to the action. Today it's me, Matt Payne. You can follow me at Matt Fixer Payne on Instagram, at my co-host Emma Martin on international duty at the moment in Reims for the UCI. You can follow Emma at biking_Emma. Don't forget, of course, whilst you're on Instagram, make sure you follow MyWhoosh on Instagram. You can do the same on Facebook as well. And it's my_whoosh on the platform known as X. Don't forget, of course, we're back next week with more racing. Qualifier race number 1, brought to you by the amazing team behind the scenes at MyWhoosh, both in terms of putting together the racing and all of the platform, as well as the broadcast team who bring you the pictures. A big thank you to everyone who has watched, to everybody behind the scenes, and to all of our riders competing. It's time for me to grab ice cream and coffee, not necessarily in that order. Thank you very much for joining me for our monthly finals. Join me again next week for qualifier number 1. Until then, goodbye.